Isa, go ahead.
My name is Aiza Fatima and I'm currently a ninth grader and I love reading.
Ah, good. Advaita Shukla 9C.
Hello, sir. I am Advaita Shukla and I'm from ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all about me. I like reading, I
Ah,
guess.
that's good. Well, what's your favorite book, Advaita? Like fiction, non-fiction?
Fiction. I
Ah,
hate
lovely.
fiction.
Okay, Anvesha.
Hello, sir. I'm Anvesha Srivastav, and I wanted to thank you for the amazing sessions that we had. And I think the environment that you created, that you fostered, it was really compelling us to know more about debates. And I did watch a few YouTube videos, which I don't usually do. But it was really intriguing me. Thank you so much for those amazing sessions.
Ah,
And all
thank you,
the
Anvesha.
okay, sir. Thank you.
That's good. I like the Zalian Anvesha's voice. Okay, Shanvi Mishra.
Hello, sir. My name is Shanvi Mishra, and I'm in ninth grade. I like playing guitar.
That's good. Mannat Kalsi.
Hi, sir. My name is Manat Kalsi. I'm in 10th grade and I like reading books.
Ah, that's good. Okay, Pragya Srivastav.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is, of course, Pragya Srivastav. I'm in grade 11th. I love interacting and connecting with people. I'm a very
That's
social personality.
that's good. Okay, Srishti Jan.
Yes, hello, sir. My name is Shrishti Jain, and I just wanted to say that the previous sessions have been really fruitful, and I'm just so excited for the upcoming sessions. Thank you.
That's good. Arya Singh.
Hello, sir. My name is Arya Singh, and I'm in 11th grade. I love doing paintings and reading books, and also writing poems.
That's good. That's so artistic of you. Ah, Nabila, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Nabila and I'm in class 10th right now. And one thing that I like or that sets me apart from others would be singing.
Oh, you're like, oh, okay, lovely. I have such an artistic class right now. One likes to play guitar, one likes to do art, one is a good singer. Garanvi, we'll do a couple more, then we'll begin our session.
I am Goranvi. I think the best thing that I can do is I write songs and poems.
Ah, that's good. Okay, Swadha Angihotri, I suppose, if am I not butchering your pronunciation. Okay, Manvi Sani.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Malvi Seni. I am in 10th standard and I love to sing as well as gain knowledge about science and technology in general.
Okay, Swadha, you raised your hand again. Go ahead, speak. You are muted, Swadha. Okay. Gauri Vamma.
Good evening, sir. I'm Swada. I'm in 10th grade. I like to write.
Ah, that's good, Swadha. Okay, Gauri, continue.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Gorisha, and I like to write poems and read books. And apart from that, I love sports.
That's good, Gauri.
Thank you for all the wonderful sessions that you have conducted. They were really amazing, and we learned a lot from them. And I would
Okay.
really like to thank you for the knowledge.
It's fine, Gauri. Okay, Simra Wahid.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Simra, and I really like writing poetry as well as writing music, and I also love reading.
That's good, Simra. Okay. We'll just do one more. Okay, Aisha Ansari.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Lisa, and I like to sing and write poetries.
That's good. Okay, we only have one more hand raised. That is Yashasvi Anika Tandon. Go ahead, just speak and.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Yashasvi. I really enjoy debating and I like to do art and I like to do quizzing.
That's good, Yashasvi. Okay. Okay, so guys, as the feedback has come, the workshop has been amazing, so that is good. Okay, so tomorrow will be a competition. Does anybody have any doubt regarding the competition? वैसे है तो I'll just clear the format in just a second. But before that, today's session will be revising the stuff we have gone through, and I'll be attending to your personal doubts if you guys have any. So, do you want me to cover anything personally, or do you want me to like focus on one topic which you haven't understood throughout the classes?
Sir, the stakeholder topic which you said, that
Okay,
was
stakeholder
something
analysis.
which
Identification of burden.
Okay.
Sir, how to address POIs in general, maybe.
Okay.
Sir,
Class analysis.
so
One second, ladies.
characterization and methodology.
Identification of burden. Then we had identify POIs, and then other than stakeholder analysis, identification of burden, POIs, and anything else.
Characterization.
Characterization.
Oh, you guys haven't understood characterization. Characterization and anything else? Anybody wants to add? List.
So,
Argument
can you
analysis.
I'll speak one by one. Just raise your hand and I'll address. Okay, Vidyansh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you explain one more time arguments, sir? Just a recap.
Okay, definitely. Khushi.
So I just wanted to clarify rebuttals. It means how to like make rebuttals against our opponent. How to mean.
Okay, got it. Anchal.
Sir, could you please like re-explain clash analysis?
Clash analysis. Okay. Shamavi.
Sir, I just wanted to clarify for the like the competition tomorrow. Will the topic would be given to us beforehand, or will the topic to, would be the topic? Would the topic be given us beforehand, or would be given on the spot and like some time to make notes
30
on it?
minutes before.
Okay, ठीक है. I'll cover that as well, Shamavi. Don't worry. Gaurav.
Sir, I was dubious that how we are going to select and identify that which team is going to speak for the motion and which one against.
Okay, we'll do that as well in the competition format. Don't worry. And do we have anybody else left? Akshayani Mishra.
Yes, sir. So, in the material hand kit that we got, it's written that 5 minutes shall be given for motion ranking. Could you explain what that is exactly?
Okay, I'll do that. Motion ranking. And Hardik Kapoor.
Sir, mechanization.
Okay. Nabila.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask about the PM, like what exactly the PM can do, all the powers of him.
Okay. I'll just cover roles 1 second. Don't worry. Okay. I think that's all. Khushi, go ahead.
So just one more thing, because yesterday a mentor told that we won't be able to use the internet. So won't it be difficult to actually present more factual and statistical ideas? So how are we going to means do that?
Okay. Who told you won't be able to use the internet, by the way? May I know the name?
I don't remember the name sadly, but yesterday the mentor was a Didi and she told that we
She
won't
had
be
said
allowed.
Yesterday
normal
the
debates.
speaker told you.
So she had said for normal debates, like
Huh,
if you're going offline, they normally don't provide you with internet access. So you have
huh.
to just, because otherwise all the teams will be having all those
I'll just
proper factual
clarify that. I'll
points.
just clarify that. Stuti, tell.
So, time management and how to ensure our speech has all the appropriate topics covered.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's too many topics. Okay, I should tell.
So I just want you to once clarify the ROPs and all the rules once, the general rules on like the time duration which is given before, when will the topic be declared?
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it, got it.
basically
I'll
all
cover
the
that.
general rules. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you, sir.
Shambhavi and Shambhavi first.
Sir, like how to cross question, you were once explaining to us that what can be cross question, or like,
Okay, so basically POIs and rebuttals, right?
yes.
Okay, I'll cover that. The I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Fatima, please go ahead.
Sir, can you please again explain the POIs and rebuttals topic?
Okay, I'll cover that. Manvi.
So yesterday you sent a form regarding the adjudicator role. So if you could enlighten, throw some light on that.
Okay, okay, definitely. Okay, I think we'll begin now. After that, if you guys have any more topics to cover, just type it in chat. Okay. So first of all, let's clarify what will be the competition for tomorrow is. Please start taking notes. I won't be sharing any PPTs. I don't have a PPT for tournament. I'll just share the first PPT. Don't worry. Okay. So I think everybody is familiar with how this everything PMLO this thing goes. The first speaker, 3v3 format, APD. One side is the government, other side is the opposition. One side is PM, DPM, government whip, government reply. Other side is leader opposition, DLO, opposition whip, and opposition reply. That's simply how it goes. Now for the competition. See, in normal APD competitions, see, we haven't confirmed the timings, but I'm trying to keep it more accessible to you. But I think it might not be not because usually APD competitions like start 8 in the morning and end 8 at evening or something. So yeah, it's quite a long competition. Why is it long competition? I'll tell. See, in all there will be 6 rounds. Should I just share a paint screen? Is there a whiteboard option? 1 second. Whiteboarding. Start the whiteboard. Now you guys going to see some. Okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. Don't worry. Please share the recording of this meeting in our group. Yeah, definitely we will. Okay. So this is going to be very high level presentation which I'm sharing for you, but don't mind it. Okay. So competition format. Competition. I'm probably butchering the spelling as well. Don't mind it. Today's session is going to be only fruitful. Okay. So competition will have 6 rounds in all. And these 6 rounds will be divided into 3v3. 3 versus 3 rounds. These 3 rounds will be open, and the next 3 rounds will be qualifying. Simple. Now what do I mean by that? See, in all you will have 6 rounds. The first 3 rounds will happen as an open. That means all teams will be participating in all the 3 rounds. Then after these 3 rounds there will be breaks. When these breaks are announced, ladies and gentlemen, these will help you qualify to these 3 rounds. Now, what happens in these 3 rounds are these the top 8 teams, then they fight in the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, and then the finals. That is quite simple. That's how it goes. So for the competition, you will be given a side at the beginning. We'll be uploading your whole information, your team names into a software known as Tabbycat, and that will randomly decide the side which you get. So for example, we give you one motion, and then you might be government, and then for the next motion you'll be opposition, and then for the next motion you'll be government. See, simple. It will alternate until and unless you're matched against a team in semifinals or finals which had the same side before, and then it will be randomized once again. So that's how the competition will go. It's simple. It's a 6-round competition. 3 is open, and other 3 are qualifying. These qualifying rounds happen with breaks. Simple. Nothing too complicated. And just covering the ROPs of the competition once again, you will be randomly matched, and every team goes against 3 rounds. So you will have 3 different opponents for every round. And see, motion ranking इसमें आ जाती है. For the first 3 open rounds, we're not keeping motion ranking. You will be given very balanced topics in which both opposition and government have lots of points to speak upon. But in the next 3 qualifying rounds, we'll keep motion ranking. Okay. These motion ranking, basically, I think you guys might have been told about the motion ranking ones. I'll cover that once again. I'll just come to you, Shreya. Just let me cover this. Okay, you will be given three motions, right? And out of these three motions, you need to choose two. Once you choose, you need to rank these. So basically, uh, imagine it's simple. We give you motion A, motion B, and motion C. Now the first team ranks the motion as 3, 1, 2, and the other teams ranks the motion 2, 3, 1. Now in every motion, the third option is always veto. That means whatever happens, this the motion which you have ranked third will not be picked up for debate ever. So in this case, 3 has been vetoed by team. Motion B has been vetoed by team 2, and motion A has been vetoed by team 1 by ranking them 3. Now this is a very simple form of voting. जहाँ पे what has happened कि दोनों टीम ने both teams have voted different motions as 3, and that's why 2 motions have been vetoed. So the only motion left for debate is motion C. Sometimes it might happen that both teams may vote motion A as 3 and then motion B as 1, motion C as 2. So when that happens, there will be a toss between the two motions and then the motion will be selected. So that's how your competition will go in a very simple way. The motions will be released just 30 minutes before the actual competition. 5 minutes will be given for you and your team to decide the motion ranking. After that 5 minutes, you tell the ranking of the motions to the chair, and then that chair, if the motion is clashing, he does a toss, and then the motion is selected. And then the next 25 minutes is given to you for what? Is given to you for preparation, and then the speeches will begin. Any doubts in that? That's simply how your competition will flow. Okay, Shreya, ask.
Can you give us a brief explanation about what kind of topics can be given, like related to politics, feminism, or what kind?
Okay, I'll cover that as well. Brief. We have already selected your motion, so I think I will be releasing the agendas of the motion. Let me just open my group. Hmm. See, in most other workshops, when you are attending, this was a very basic workshop for you. If we go more complicated on stuff, there might be days which we would have dedicated to covering how to deal with the topic. For example, economics. If I take economics, I can speak so much on how to deal with economics. Like somebody yesterday messaged me to cover sanctions and everything. See, these subtopics lie in such a vast umbrella of topics to be covered. For example, sanctions, economy, weak currency, these come under the topics of economics. So you need to increase your knowledge base on different umbrellas of topics. One can be economics, other can be international relations, politics, arts, sports, law, different types of like that. So we have selected some agendas for you. I'll just cover that. Aisha, till then, ask a question.
So my question is that during the 25 minutes for preparation, will we be able to access the internet or not?
Okay, I'll just cover that as well. Okay, internet access is maybe quite debatable in some sense. In offline competitions, you are never allowed internet use. Even if it's an APD or it's a default debate, you're never allowed internet use. But for online competition, of course, we cannot have a check on you whether you're using internet or not. So you're allowed to use internet, and then you can maybe search for 25 minutes ki is motion mein kya hai, what do we need to speak. So you can definitely do that. You can
Would be given the, if we have to speak for the motion and against the motion, would be informed beforehand, or it would be a toss or something?
It will be informed you beforehand in the 30 minutes. So once the motion ranking starts, you need to vote as government and opposition. So you know which motion will be favoring you, and that's why motion rankings are maybe quite nuanced. Because sometimes there are motions which are more, you can say, government favoring, and there's some motions which are more opposition favoring. So in that case, you need to cover when you vote for motions, you need to know which motion will be vetoed, because if this is more government favoring, opposition will veto that. If this motion is more government favoring, then opposition favoring, then government will veto that. So you are giving your sides randomly at the start, and then from the next rounds you start alternating. So it's quite simple like that. Okay. And you're given your slides before motion ranking, so it's not that big of a problem. And internet use is allowed in our competition because we of course cannot check whether you're using internet or not. But be very wary of how you use it, because your 25 minutes which you are given is very short of a time to prepare your speeches. And if you keep researching on that, then it's quite difficult. So prep time efficiency is a whole another topic which we haven't covered. It's quite an advanced topic as well. So what I'm trying to say here is, when you see you're given the 25 minutes, pre-decide with your team. For example, I pre-decide with my team, keep 5 minutes I will spend on research. Next 10 minutes we'll spend on discussing, and then the next 10 minutes we'll write our speeches. So that's how I segregate my time. You guys might have some other flow which you might want to use yourself. So just go about it. Okay. Uh,
So I have a doubt.
Manan.
Yes, sir. If both the teams have same votes for motion A, motion B, motion C, both voted motion A to be 1, motion B to be 2, and motion 3 to be 3. Both the teams prefer motion A to be debated on. So in that case, they have to have a toss for to decide, like as
No. If both teams are agreeing to have motion A as one, then of course the debate will carry on motion A. Then that's not big of a problem. It only happens a debate. The only toss happens, or it's randomized, when one team's vote motion A as one and motion B is voted as one by the other. So now then, when both teams have different preferences, then of course it's randomized. So that's a simple
okay,
thing.
sir. Thank you.
I think I've covered your. What are you saying, Manan? Okay.
So I was
So,
just
okay, it's good. So I think I've covered ROPs a little bit, and I've covered internet use. Anybody has a problem in those things, and the competition format as well for tomorrow. I'll cover one more thing in competition format, which is the form which I released, which is of the adjudication thing. See, in a normal APD competition, you basically have two tournaments going side by side. One's out of the speaker rules, which you guys will be playing, and one is also of the adjudicators. See, I think adjudication has been covered in your last session, but I'll just brief it over once again. Did you guys have a slide yesterday for adjudication? You did not. Okay, whatever. So how do you utilize time efficiently? I'll cover that. Wait a second. See, this is a coin toss motion when one has voted motion B as one and motion C has been voted by team two. So then it's a coin toss. Hardik, you can go ask your question and then I'll move forward.
Sir, we did have a slide for education
You
last
did?
class. I think it was slide number 2.
Thank you, Hardik. Lovely. Okay, so in adjudication, how the competition goes. See, every speaker has you can say a structure, right? For example, the PM has to speak for 7 minutes, and then the leader opposition comes, and then the DPM, and then that's how it goes. After all the speakers have spoken, and then all the reply speeches are also covered, then the speeches are given by adjudicators. See, there's a speaker competition which you guys are participating normal debate, and then there's an adjudicator competition. For example, we will be selecting some adjudicators from you in the form which you have filled. You have ticked whether you want to opt in as an adjudicator or not. So we'll be branching off some adjudicators. These adjudicators will listen to your debate, and then after your debate has happened, they have in their power to give their verdict. And once their verdict is heard, that will decide the flow of the debate. But as we are selecting adjudicators from you and we do not know whether you are that much experienced in that field or not, we will have two panel adjudicators. For example, we'll have novice adjudicators and we'll have the chair. So once your speaking round is done, novice adjudicators will come and they will give OA. OA is known as oral adjudication. It's a 7-minute speech in which the adjudicator gives his verdict, and gives clash by clash analysis, and he basically explains why he has given the verdict he has given and what he wanted from the debate and how did he want the debate to go. So we will be having adjus from you all, and if anybody has any doubt in adjudication, he can ask me right now. Hi, Yashashvi, go ahead.
So I wanted to ask you that if a team has is in the adjudication panel, will they be allowed to take part in the debate?
See, when APD competition happen, these are two separate competitions, right? So you will not be part of the debate once you have opted as adjudicator panel. And if your team is being sent to the adjudication panel as well, your team will basically dissolve, because in adjudication you adjudicate alone. And
Okay.
how we decide the breaks of the adjudicators are basically, you rate the speakers. Adjudicators are given a sheet in which they rate the speakers. It's basically all in the software, so do not worry about it. And the speakers which you're adjudicating will be allowed to give you numbers as well, out of 1 to 10. So concluding all these, summing up all those numbers, we will see who has the highest adjudicator scores. And when the break for the team happens in the other 3 rounds, breaks for the adjudicators will also happen. So the top 8 adjudicators will be selected, and the top 8 teams will be selected.
Yes.
So that's
So
how two
what if
parallel
like
competition occur in APD at the same time. Yashasvi.
so what if like we want to take part, we are selected for adjudication, but we want to take part in the debate?
Well, if you have a preference, then of course we'll listen to you. Otherwise, if
Okay.
we are running short on adjudicators, then it's just randomized. Well, but I think we will have more adjudicators. But if anybody is interested in speaker role, he will be given preference in speaker role. So don't worry about
Okay,
it.
sir. Thank you. Thank you so
Huh.
much.
Okay, Anshul, go ahead.
So, like you said, there will be novice adjudicators. So, how many of them? Like, only one will be there for one round.
See, first of all, we need to see, that's a very logistical question which you have asked. It's basically, if we get more number of adjudicators and less number of teams, then we will having 2 adjudicators per team, something like that. But that doesn't matter. What really matters is, whenever a round is being judged, there will have to be 2 adjudicators. One will be a novice and the one will be a chair. Novice will give his verdict. He will tell how he saw the debate, but the verdict which will matter will be only of the chair. The chair will be experienced educators, which we will be sending, and the verdict of the chair will be mattering. So either the novice can agree with the chair, or he can disagree. He can dissent whatever he wants, but his verdict will not be taken into consideration. His only the chair's verdict will be taken into consideration, because of course he's more experienced. But still, you get to rate your adjudicator, and that's how adjudicator competition will happen. Gauri.
So if we are becoming the adjudicator, will we not be participating in debate or something?
If you have been cut off to adjudicators, you will not be participating in the debate. Your only job as an adjudicator is to listen to the debates and give your views at the end. And I think adjudicator is quite a good job. I quite like being adjudicator, because it's like, if you want to get good at debate, you can take a speaker role. But if you want to truly develop your skill of debating, you need to become adjudicators more. Why? Because then you know ki these speakers are speaking, and this is what they lack. And when you get to know what they're lacking, the next time you play a speaker role, you'll be able to perform better. So adjudication is actually a very good job. Aisha.
So
Okay.
I
Ha,
just
go
want to
ahead.
continue.
Mhm.
So will the adjudicators be decided like in the first 3 rounds or after the first 3 rounds?
No. These adjudicators are decided before the competition only. So of course, 3 rounds before the 3 rounds will happen of the adjudicators, and 3 rounds will happen of the speakers as well. So you can basically understand this adjudicator and speaker as 2 different competitions occurring in the same umbrella, right? One is between the adjudicators and one is between the speakers. The speakers won't be adjudicating and the adjudicators won't be speaking until they're giving the OA.
So if like if a team a member, they had to choose, I guess, in the form that if you want to judge or not, and if they have given yes, will the entire team not be participating then?
Uh, See, we have, I think it was more for team option. Will your team want to participate as an adjudication panel? But if there's any problem, either we'll be giving a new teammate or we'll be giving you just speaker role. So of course we'll ask your preference first. We are not forcing anybody to adjudicate. No, we are forcing anybody to take part in speaking. Whatever one wants, he can select. But if your team dissolves, you might need to find a new teammate, or your whole team might need to shift to adjudication.
Okay.
So that's a
Thank you.
choice which you guys will make in your team. I can't.
Thank you.
I don't know. Okay. Aisha.
So, sir, my question is that how many educators will be there?
Okay. We can have n number of educators. We just need to see how many educators will register. We will be taking at least 15 educators. So let's see. 15 is the minimum. The upper limit is however many you guys register as. Okay, so I think that's enough of the competition format and the internet and ROPs. Now we can cover. Okay, Gaurav, go ahead.
Sir, if tomorrow we have the opening rounds and considering that each debate is somewhere of 1 hour and we have to contest three opening rounds, so are we going to have three debates? And if yes, then what's the time schedule?
See, you will be having definitely three debates and open rounds. You have to attend all three of them. And the time schedule, do not ask me right now because it's quite hectic. It might start in. We want to maybe take your consideration. Like, I think I'll drop in a poll or maybe not a poll. But basically, see, each round is might sound 1 hour, but it will take 2 hours. 1:30 will be your speaking because speakers are joining, speakers are leaving, speakers are not joining the meet. Something happens, something happens. So basically, every APD round takes like 2 hours. So if you multiply that by three, that's 6. So 6 hours of your day is just gone in the competition itself. Then we have the opening ceremony, then we have people joining in. So you can consider like 7, 8 hours of competition on the day one, and then 7, 8 on the day two. So that's how the schedule will look. We can start maybe in the afternoon or we'll start in the morning. That's decided by you all. Hi, Aisha, tell.
So I just want to clarify that if my team, like we chose the adjudication option, and if we're selected at the adjudicators, then we cannot enter into the debating as a debating team, and our team will be dissolved prior to the commencement of the competition. Am
Hi,
I
Aisha.
right?
Huh.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nabila.
Yes, sir, I wanted to ask. Actually, yesterday I thought that arts education were the people who are also allowed to speak and then judge. So, sir, there was a misunderstanding there. So, sir, I actually filled the form with arts education that I will be part of it,
Okay,
right?
okay. Do not worry about that. Let's just focus on our sessions rather than logistics. We'll contact you on your personal number if we are making adjudicators, and then we can discuss this all there. Let's just focus on the session right now. You will not be. I'll telling you, you're not be. You will not be forced to be an educator, nor will you be forced to be a speaker. Whatever is your preference, you will be given that. So do not worry about it. That will sort at our back end. Okay. So somebody has also given me stakeholder analysis, the topic to cover. I'll just do that right now. Okay, so you guys have learned about characterization in the previous classes. Okay, so what are the stakeholders? See, stakeholders, like in, you can maybe ask, in an economic sense, in corporate companies, they are stakeholders, they're shareholders. Who are these people? These people are the people who have a stake, a share in the company. That means, in normal general sense, stakeholders of any debate, of any motion, are the people who will be affected by this motion, who will be affected by this debate, who will be affected by how this thing plays out. Right? I'll just pick up a motion if I can find, and I'll go about it. Okay, yeah, this is a very good topic. It's more complicated. Reject the institution of marriage. You can maybe take this. The house prefers a world where people do not feel the emotion of pride. I'll take this. Pride refers emotions of having high opinion of oneself, importance, qualities, and actions. This lies in the umbrella of somewhat philosophy, you can say. Okay. This house prefers a world where people do not feel the emotion of pride. Now, when you're given this motion, to get arguments, the best thing is to do what is to do stakeholder analysis. Once you have stakeholder analysis, your arguments will automatically pour in very simply. This is called an active benefit approach, where you select actors. Actors are basically stakeholders, and then you go, okay, why would this happen? Yeah, sir, why is my argument true according to the incentive of the actors, according to the incentive of the stakeholders? I'll just clarify. Give me a second. This house prefers a world where people do not feel emotion of pride. So basically, we are saying, okay, do we have something motion ranking? I think I've covered motion ranking as well. Okay, I'll do this simultaneously with the PM. Somebody asked me how to do PM. I personally myself play the Prime Minister quite well because I like just giving characterization and mechanization. Now, how do I go about my job as a PM? Whenever I'm given a debate, and this is not just PM logged, you can do this for any speaker. I think PM role as a speaker or as a team is a very important role because you guys need to understand what are we debating here? And that is basically the job of the PM to tell to the panel. But as a team, once you're discussing, your first question should always be, what is this motion about? Yeah, feel, what is this debate about? And before this, what is this debate about? You need to understand what. Okay, now the first question is, what is this debate about? See, this house prefers a world where people do not feel the emotion of pride. Now, when I ask, what is this debate about? Anybody wants to answer that question? Ha, Goranvi.
Basically, the house prefers a world where people do not have the emotion of superiority and high opinion of my own self and considering everyone not as the best, but considering myself as the best.
That is good, Karan. That is a very good analysis. So basically, when you ask the question of what is this debate about, you just look at the motion and you strip it off all its parts. You do not see its high vocabulary, you do not see its high language, you do not see where the motion is placed. You see, what are we debating about? In this, we are debating about whether where people do not feel the emotion of pride. This house is preferring a world where people are not having that emotion of pride, meaning that emotion of high opinion of themselves. Now, once you know what is this debate about, now see, okay, why do we always ask this question? We ask this question always because, understand, whenever a debate happens, you need to clarify what are we debating about, because whenever we have a disagreement, there's actually a major part that we agree upon, but we just do not agree upon something else. What do I mean when I say by this? See, in this motion, both the sides, opposition and government, are agreeing that people should feel, people should have emotions. What they're disagreeing about is people should people have the emotion of pride. Okay, so here people are not debating about emotionality or maybe people should not have emotions. It's basically the debate is about emotion of high opinion. So this is the part where we agree upon. This is the part where we disagree upon. And now in this disagreement wala part, we need to prove why our side, why our paradigm is better, and the government will prove why their paradigm is better. That's a simple thing. So whenever you're given a motion, you as a PM, as a team, need to ask yourself, what is this debate about? And once you have answered this, what is this debate about? In your mind, think, why is this debate happening? Once these two questions are clear, it will be very easy for you to get arguments. Why is this debate happening is a question which lets you know what is the importance of the debate here. For example, this house prefers a world where people do not feel emotional pride. Why? Why are we even debating? Why is this emotion even given? Pride, emotion, why? This debate is given because people in the current paradigm, in the paradigm which we imagine, in the paradigm where humans live, okay, where we live, people kind of have an opinion of themselves in which when they give too much importance to themselves, they lose empathy, they lose sympathy, they lose what it means to be human. Or the other side of the paradigm, maybe when people are more prideful, they value life more, they value themselves more, and when they value themselves more, they live their life more. When they're happy, they make others happy. So that is the point why this debate is happening. That is the importance. Basic importance is, are people better off? Okay. So here burdens also come in as well. Somebody asked me how to identify the identification of burdens. So see, what am I going about here? First of all, when we are given a motion, you and your team sit down and ask, what is this debate about? Once this thing is clear to you, you go, why is this debate happening? It's like the importance of the debate. And then you identify the burdens. Basically, the identification of the burdens will go hand in hand with the stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder analysis is what? Stakeholders are the people who are affected how this motion plays out. Imagine if I create a world where the pride does not exist. Who will be affected? People will be affected, society at large will be affected, or these only has two stakeholders. Or maybe you can break down stakeholders. If you want to break down stakeholders, you can go uh, kids, adults, and then old age people, and then society at large. Or you can just take people and society at large. It's quite simple how you break down your stakeholders. I'll take people and society at large. I'll take individual people and society at large. See, so individuals versus society at large. And now, once I'm taking these stakeholders, what is the burden of any debate? Once you have analyzed the stakeholders, the burden of any debate is to tell how the stakeholders will be better in your paradigm. Simple. For example, if I'm debating, I need to tell why my stakeholders, the individuals, and the society will be better off. And if I fail to do so, why am I even debating about the other side is true? We should not have pride. The other side is already true. So that's how stakeholders work. In some debate, you might have a negative stakeholder. For example, if you're talking about fascist regimes, you might have fascist leaders as a stakeholder, and there you need to tell how you need to suppress these fascist stakeholders because these are negative characters. Okay, so simple. What is this debate about? Why is this debate happening? Then stakeholders, who are the people affected by this, who are the people who are being affected, simply people who are affected by this. If you change a little bit in this motion, you see somebody will be affected. I need to analyze who will be affected, and these affected people are your stakeholders. As simple as that. So individuals, society, and the burden is how will they be better off? Simple. So these three topics are somewhat covered. I'll cover roles more. Ha, Ananya. Say.
So suppose when we are giving the stakeholder listing as a prime minister, so are we supposed to give one liners or should we, justify the stakeholdership as well?
Okay, huh, see. Once you're given stakeholders, for example, the previous topic which you were talking about, the pride one, there might be stakeholders which are very obvious. For example, people, individuals, and society are stakeholders which are very simple, right? These are the stakeholders which will the debate be based upon because that is the debate happening upon. Now, imagine in this stakeholder, I bring in corporate companies. Now, when I've given this stakeholder, my job as bringing in a nuanced stakeholder is not only to say or prove why the stakeholder is better off, but also to say why the stakeholder is important to a debate in the first place, right? So, if I bring in a nuanced stakeholder, which is not very obvious, will be affected by the motion, I first of all need to connect to the debate why the stakeholder is important to the debate first of all, and then go about proving how is he better off. In any debate you are happening, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that first of all, you need to prove why is this thing even important about which we are debating about, how this is connected to the motion, and if this is once you have proved this connection, yes, the thing which I'm talking about, the argument, stakeholder, anything which I'm talking about is important to today's debate, then you go on about talking how is it important, why is it important. First of all, you need to prove this link. Sometimes this link will be very obvious between things, objects, but if this is not obvious, you need to make it obvious. Ha, Shambhavi.
Sir, if you could provide like a few examples both for and against the motion of for motion 3, it would be nice.
You need arguments.
Yes, arguments for both
Okay.
for both for and against the motion because examples could help.
Ha, we'll do that. Okay. This house prefers a world where people do not feel emotion of pride. I think let's make this more interactive. I'll draw a line in my diary. I'll go for and I'll write against. I'll give 2 minutes. Anybody who comes with any motion, whether for or against, any argument for or against, raise his hand and I'll ask him. And then we'll see what have we reached here. 2 minutes. It's 12:58. I'll begin one. Okay, Riddhima, begin. Clarify your side and then give your argument.
I'd like to give an argument against the motion.
Okay.
I feel that in a lot of cases, pride is kind of like a motivating factor. For example, many people used to do something good for the world because they feel that would make themselves proud or their loved ones proud. Therefore, I feel that if pride was not present in the world, then people would be less motivated to do things and the world would progress less.
Okay, good. That's good framing as well. First of all, you just came up, you gave me the title, which is motivating factor. Then you came up and then you told why your factor was important because motivation is helpful because people go out and do stuff. And then you told me, and then you also gave me an example of trend about how this motivation actually helps people in the long run because people are more likely to do stuff. Simple debate of motivation. That is a good structure as well. Thank you, Radhima. Gauri, tell.
I would also like to speak against the motion. I
Okay.
feel that pride is a very important factor in life. Firstly, as rightly said by her, it motivates. Secondly, because a lot of people have low self esteem and they do stuff so that they feel that they are worth it, and they try to excel more so that they feel proud of themselves and so that their family and others feel proud of them. So, pride is important because in daily life, that's how it goes about.
Lovely. Okay. Okay.
And
Here.
I would to raise
Huh?
an argument against the motion that Gauri just said right now.
Okay.
She
You want
said
to give a POI or something? Go.
yes. She said that people sometimes feel insecure, so they boast out their pride or whatever they have achieved. Sir, what I sir, if someone my insecurity shouldn't be projected onto someone else to make someone else insecure for something which they have not projected, for something which they have not achieved. And it should and whatever I have achieved should just be contented to myself and not be boasted about, as it can make other people insecure and cause other people to judge them. So that would be.
I would like to answer that, and
Hi, Gauri.
that's
Go
not.
ahead.
I did not exactly say that you're supposed to boast about it. I said that you feel the pride within yourself. You do that so that you feel proud of yourselves and others feel proud of you. You are not boasting about it to anyone. It's your actions that speak.
Okay, Gauri. Just stop the debate right here. I'll just come back in 1 second. I'll just switch my network. Okay, I'm back. So where we were talking about motivating factor.
So can
Okay.
I just continue with the answer?
Gauri, continue.
Pride is a self-motivating factor in your life. I did never said that you're supposed to boast about what you do. That's not feeling proud. That's actually, as you rightly said, that's boasting. That's flexing what you're doing. Pride is a it's a self-motivating factor, more or less.
Okay, good, good, good. See, I think we did not set up the debate quite well, but this is the issue which would have been covered if we would have done definitions, right? Because here Gauri wants to set the motion as pride being an emotion which is inert, which is expressed inwardly, and it's a emotion which gives you self worth. And when comes up to speak, she portrays pride as a emotion which is of boasting, which is of looking down on people, which is of orthodox mentality, which promotes prejudices in society. These are two different viewpoints, right? This would have been covered in your characterization of the entire debate. This is how characterizations differ, and this is how characterizations are important. Because here, Gauri gives me a different character of pride, and Shambhavi gives me a different character of pride. Now, what happens when we give characterization is you don't only just state ki this is pride. Like, for example, if Gauri were giving characterization in this debate, she would have gone about ki pride is a very good emotion. Pride actually makes people self worthy of themselves. Pride makes other people motivated. Now, when she says that, she not only has the burden to prove why, but she also has the burden to prove why should I look at pride this way. Because Gauri here tells pride is good, and Shambhavi in simple terms says pride is an emotion of boasting. Now, both of the burdens come here of characterization is to prove why your characterization is important or should be considered more than the other person's characterization. Simply, right? So that's how characterization work, and that's how That's why characterization are so important, because as we can see in this, the first POI, the first problem that we had here was of characterization. If we would have characterized our emotions well, then this thing would not even have been a problem. Therefore, understand, ladies and gentlemen, characterization, framing is the most important step of the debate. And this can only happen once you go on asking what is the debate about, and then you go on giving definitions of the words. So definitions and characterization go hand in hand, simply. So I'll take, and also Gauri gave the argument of motivation, and who else was the person who gave the argument of motivation?
Sure, me.
Ridhima. Okay. So Ridhima and Gauri, what you did here was maybe a job of a PM and a DPM. Ridhima came up, she gave me the title, she gave me motivating factor, why this happens, and then Gauri comes up and she does the job of a DPM, which is Ridhima has already set up the argument for me. She has already given me a little bit of working how it might work. But then when Gauri comes up, she picks up the same argument, which is not that bad from a DPM. But when a DPM is picking up the same argument, you need to show me the same thing being true by a different perspective, which which we call rebuilding. uh, Gauri might have simply just repeated what Ridhima might have said. Key motivation is good. Motivation helps people become worthy of themselves to do things. But Gauri, what she did here, she rebuilt the argument from a different perspective, basically proving the same point. So that's how PM and DPM can complement each other. Either they can rebuild the same arguments, or they can have different arguments. Rebuilding is a very difficult job, which comes with experience and practice. So right now we only have one argument in the against, which is motivating factor, and we
Sir,
are
can I
given.
speak for the argument, like for the
I'll just ask.
motion?
Just let me write. So right now we only have one argument in against the motion, which is motivating factor, and then we have been providing two different mechanization by Ridhima and Gauri. Now this is how you sort out an argument. It is mechanization. It is the title, and then you go on asking why. Why is this true? Why is this true? Why is this important? And that becomes a mechanization. That's simply how your argument goes. And now, Ananya, you
Sir,
can go for the motion.
I also have an argument for the motion.
Okay, Ananya, you continue. After that, Shambhavi, you.
Okay, sir. So here in the motion, it says that the house actually prefers a world where people do not feel the emotion of pride. In my sense, pride, its successive form is nothing but God complex. And God complex can actually lead to overconfidence. And because of overconfidence, it can lead to a misrepresentation. Like, for example, if I take the example of a doctor, suppose we come across a doctor which is highly, like, he gives importance to himself only, and does not actually consider the opinions of the parallel colleagues, and etc. Suppose there is a patient, and he actually thinks that his opinions or his prescription is very much sufficient for to make him, to cure himself, whereas the other parallel people or the parallel colleagues of him are actually giving certain medication which can actually cure him better. Suppose here in this case, if his god complex plays a very vital role, that if there wasn't pride in himself, he would have considered the opinions of them and would have saved the person. Whereas in his case, he is a very pridey person, or he is not, has a very great god complex, and that's why it could actually lead to the death of a person as well.
Okay, Ananya, good. That's actually commendable. That's quite a good argument, and that's actually quite a good mechanization as well. I just like how your structure was quite point on. Okay, what I wanted more from your argument was you said key in my view panel, you need to understand that key pride is basically successive god complex, right? You told that, and I listened to it. I can understand why, but I would have appreciated it more if you would have told me why this pride emotion for you, how is this successive god complex for you? If you would have told me that, that would have been way better. That would have made your argument completely robust. Because first of all, understand that whatever base your argument stands upon, if that is not well connected, if that is not well clear, then I really cannot credit your argument. For example, Ananya, that was amazing argument. That was amazing mechanization. I really liked it. But the question still remains: why is pride successive god complex? And if you're failing to prove that, the whole pyramid which you have stood up just falls because your base does not exist. So even if you can give a very amazing argument, like fabulous, I would say, still, if you do not clear the roots, your argument just falls apart. Because if you have a harsh panel, it's not like, see, I'll tell you, it's not like I do not understand why pride is successive God complex. It's like I want you to do that. It's speaker's job to set up the whole thing which they are telling me to make it easy for the judge to follow. And if you get like a rude adjudicator, then of course he will be like, "इसने तो ये बोला नहीं, जाओ मैं नहीं सुनूंगा." So of course you need to focus on that as well. Baki Ananya, quite good. Shama, go
Thank you,
ahead.
sir.
Sir, what Ananya said, I would like to continue on that only. What she said, that pride is successive God complex, in other simpler words, narcissism. And pride is nothing but a sense of fulfillment, which at some point is motivating a person, but at one point it stops, and you are now just filled with a sense of that yes, I have achieved everything, which causes you to lag behind, and now you're getting more and more insecure that what happened, why am I not achieving it now, why am I like this, then you start blaming yourself. Other argument would be that if someone is not feeling pride, the other emotions which are happy, the person would be more motivated to do something which, when it's not feeling pride, is because what he is doing is making him happy, in course making him more efficient, which can lead to more success. And then the kids would not be pressured by their parents, because if they are not feeling pride, they would not feel disappointment in them as well if they are not achieving anything.
Okay.
So may I keep
That's good,
argument
Sam.
against the motion?
I'll just come to you for a second. Let me just think about what Shambhavi has said. Okay, see what Shambhavi and Ananya, both of them did there. They basically were trying to prove individual pain to me, right? As we have discussed, we have taken two stakeholders of the debate, which is individual and society at large. And what Ananya you did, you gave me the argument which had a very good example connected to it. But once you're giving that example, what Shambhavi did was talk in a more general sense. She said when a person feels this way, he might have this feeling, that feeling, right? So if you guys were PM and DPM, that's how your case flushes out. Your argument of again successive God complex, Shambhavi ने भी मुझे root नहीं दिया. Shambhavi did not tell me कि why I should consider pride as narcissistic quality or why should I consider it as successive God complex. And then Shambhavi told me how it's individually, in general sense, it can lead to a feeling of unfulfillment or maybe looking down upon people. And what Ananya said was more logical mechanization of how a person in a specific scenario will ruin his life if he's prideful. So that's one argument from two different perspectives for four. And in against, that's one argument from two different perspectives. I'll just take one against the motion and then we'll change the topic. I
So
don't
can
want to
I
waste much.
can I rebut Shambhavi?
Go ahead.
So Shambhavi in the end said that it will lower the expectations of parents from students, something like that. Am I correct? Yes. So if that happens, wouldn't that reduce the productivity of the world?
Okay, I understand. Sorry, Anchal. I just can't get over the fact that I have one oratrix person raising hand. Oratrix, please give me your argument.
So
Good
sir, I would
afternoon,
like
sir.
to
How are
present
you?
Is this you, man?
No, sir was taking the session, so I really wanted to join also.
I'll just disregard your presence here. And who was I on? She was giving a very good rebuttal.
I could give a really good argument, sir, if you allow me to. Okay.
You can shut up. Thank you. Don't not disturb my session. Okay, who was speaking the rebuttal point?
So I was saying that that would reduce the productivity of the world. If there are no expectations, why would anyone want to do something that they, if there is no sense of pride, then like it will just
Okay.
like the world will stop.
Okay, Achal, I
Nobody
understand what you're trying to say here, and I, to an extent, agree with you. Now, see, I'll cover another topic which is of utmost important here, which is POS and rebuttal. See, Achal, what you are trying to prove here is what they said, how it is untrue. But this is kind of a rebuttaling thing. I'll just clarify the difference between a rebuttal and a POI for you all. See, a POI is a simple question which you're asking. Rebuttaling is done in your speech. For example, Achal, what you're trying to do is you're trying to dismantle their argument, right? And that you can do in your own speech of a DPM of whatever of a LO. That can happen in your own speech because that requires time and that requires effort and that requires more constructive things which you have built your case upon. Because see,
So,
the best. Haan, chal.
so I am a weak speaker. So like I provided a rebuttal. How would you like rate me? Like how was my rebuttal? Like how can I improve?
I'll just cover that. 1 second. Chal. Okay, I'll just cover that. Where was I? Okay, rebuttal and POI. See, there's a difference, right? What Achal is doing here is a job of a whip, a simple whip. She says, see, Achal, I can only assess you in your job of a whip once we have both of the case set up, because then you can play off your case and then attack their case, because everybody understands this. The best way to prove anything true in a debate is, first of all, prove what they're saying as false and then prove your thing as true. Simple approach, always do that. Setting up your argument, if your argument directly clashes with their view, first of all, tell why their argument is false and then say, yes, their argument is false, but you know what? I'll give you a I'll give you what is true. Simple approach of setting up a problem and solving the problem yourself. Saying that what argument they have given is false and what argument I'm giving is true. Simple approach, but yet very effective. Always do that. And rebuttal and POI. What Archie was trying to do here was trying a job of a whip. She was trying to dismantle the case which they have set up. That is a good thing which she can do in her speech. But when a thing of a POI comes, see, POI are basically simple, small questions. And you need to be very smart about your POIs. See, I'll tell you, you can maybe ask, I think we have covered the types of POIs already, trap, binding. Uh, mm, Listen to structure. One second, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. POIs. Basically types of POIs. There's a trap slash binding POI, rebuttal POI, reminder POI, weighing POI. Simple. That is the job of POIs. Basically to ask in a simple question what the case they are building and question them. See, you are given a 7-minute set period. Okay. You might be thinking this is too long of a period to speak. I've only spoken 3 minutes, 50 seconds, 4 minutes. But actually, once you start doing APDs, you'll be like, 7 minutes is the most less amount of time which you can get to prove your case. And that's how you're given like 3 roles. Simply. That is why once you go about all this, POIs are the thing which can help you actually cut into the time of the speaker. So example, what we do sometimes is do not take this as a tip, but how it happens. Sometimes the speaker is speaking and we use POIs as an interruption. Because if you ask the question, for example, a trap slash binding POI, rebuttal POI, the person has to answer your question. And now he's answering a question which you have raised as false, which you have raised as attackative. So instead of building his own case, he's basically spending time on what you have asked as true or false. Now, when he does that, his own case will remain what will remain pending. That is why it will create more holes in the whole argument wall which they're constructing. So that's how you need to use your POIs. You see somebody has given a controversial statement. You see somebody has given spoken something which you can bind to. You can basically give a weighing POI as well. Or what Achal you were doing here, you were basically asking a question of this thing leads to this. So it's a consequential thing, right? If expectations are lower, then the whole world will be less productive. So you need to make your statement concise. Ki this happens, then this can happen. And this happening, are you supporting this? Are you supporting, is Shambhavi supporting a world where people are less productive? That becomes a trap slash binding POI when pride emotion is not in the world. That's how POIs versus rebuttaling go. Quite simple. And that's it is a difference. POI will be a small question, rebuttaling will be the dismantling of the case. Any questions on that?
So may I ask one question?
How Khushi go?
So I was going to speak in the favor for the motion, and I had one statement at the end, and I just wanted to ask that whether it was right or wrong. So the statement was that pride has led to the downfall of many historical figures. and I was going to give examples of Napoleon Bonaparte and Adolf Hitler, and one empire as well, the Roman Empire. And I was going to just tell how the pride led to their means downfall. So, is that valid for a debate? Like I am bringing the history in it.
That is quite valid for the debate. What I'm laughing upon, Kushi, is Roman Empire did not fall because they were prideful. They fell because they were less prideful. But we'll not go into the Roman history. I'm a very connoisseur of Roman history. I've read so much. It's fine. It's fine. It can work in a debate. Do not. I can cover this time and fact fallacies. Somebody was asking me ki, if we do not use the internet, we will not be able to give stats. See, in APD, it's basically about logical reasoning. Because think about it. When I say this motion of pride, what stats are you supposed to give on this? What stats are you supposed to give? No stats. In APDs, do not focus on stats, do not focus on giving very, very relevant examples. If it becomes a more general, well-connected topic to the current paradigm, then of course examples really appreciated. But stats and figures are not very well respected in APDs. If you give them, cool. If you don't give them, cool. Doesn't matter.
Excuse me, sir.
Hi,
So is
Shashmi.
it compulsory to take a POI, or can we just not take any POI?
Okay, it is not compulsory to take, so your points will not be deducted. But of course, if you take a POI, that is better. Always.
Yes, sir.
See, there are different marks for engagement which are given, and these engagement are POIs as well, right? So, अगर तुम लोगी, then it will be better. And if you do not even take a POI, because sometimes it happens, this oratrix kid, जो कि है यहाँ पे, she's in my team, she's Manya Agarwal, and sometimes Manya is so nervous in her speeches that she's like, I will not take any POIs, whatever happens. So she just goes on stage, she builds up the entire case which she has, and then she does not take any PO, and that is fine. Like, you do not have to take a POI if you're doing a good job, but if you take a POI, well respected. So depends on you.
Okay, so but POIs will like increase advantage, will be an
Definitely,
advantage.
always, always.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So can we mention in our speech that I'll be taking POIs in the towards the end 2 minutes or towards the ending of my
Definitely,
speech?
definitely. Your PO, see, whenever you start the speech, basically in APD, you start the speech, you just open your microphone, then you're like, I'll take 15 seconds. After 15 seconds, you open your microphone again, then you're like, I am this, I'm Michel Raj Gupta, my pronouns are he/him, my POI preferences are this, and I'll be beginning on a self countdown of 1, 2, 3. Simple. And then you begin. Not too formal, good morning panel, nothing. Nobody counts that. Just begin.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, Tasiva, Fatima messaged something. So after explaining this, please explain the topic that is asking after peers, engaging with peers, and rebuttal. Okay. I think this covers how POIs and rebuttaling goes on a little bit basics. If anybody has any doubt on that, we can discuss that. I think we are done with this motion. If we go too much arguments into it, it will waste our time.
Sir,
Who's asking?
sir, where do trap or binding POIs come in a government web speech?
Trap or binding POIs are what?
Where do they come in a government whip speech? So where should they be placed so that we make our speech better? Or I guess
Okay, see, POIs are not placed in your speeches. You need to listen what the other person is speaking, and then you will analyze ki, this person said this. Now I can connect this to this and bind him. For example, if a person is supporting pride, I can say, okay, Ridhima here is supporting pride. Do Ridhima also supports people who have been blinded by pride? For example, Adolf Hitler, which led to death of millions of Jews. Is Ridhima also supporting this? This is a binding POI. Ridhima doesn't even care about Hitler. She's like, she's a good person at heart. She wants everybody to survive. But no, now I've made Ridhima a Nazi. See, that's a trap slash binding POI. So you do not need the placement of it. You just need to see what they're speaking and how you can connect it to something which is not what they're actually supporting. So now Ridwan doesn't only have to prove her point, but now she also has to defend why she's not a Nazi. See, that's a good POI. Any more questions on POIs, rebuttals?
I had a doubt.
Mhm.
I think you mentioned that POIs always have to be in the form of questions. So is that true? And if it's true, then rebuttal POIs and weighing POIs, do we have to frame them in the form of questions before using them?
Definitely. POIs always need to be a question. That is why they're a POI, point of information. You cannot go up and give a statement. That's not appreciated. You can definitely do that, and if the speaker acknowledges your statement, he will continue. But the speaker can definitely say, "Panel, that was a statement, not a question. I'll move on with my speech." Simple. So your POI needs to be a question, even in a vein. You can say your material on XYZ is less important than us because ABC. What do you have to say about it? Question mark. So your POIs need to be a question always. That is the main difference between a POI and a rebuttal. Rebuttal, you dismantle case. POIs, you ask a question.
Excuse me, sir. I asked this same question in the session in which this PDF was shown. And the speaker said that POIs needn't be always a question. They can also be a statement.
See, the speaker which was attending you, he was a very good collegiate debating, and in collegiate debating, things are very informal, right? People use curse words, anything goes. So of course, you can also give a statement, and it can be entertained. But to maintain the formality at your level, always make sure you're asking a question. I told you, it's respected. It's more respected if you frame it a question. Once you start to get into debating, you'll know which statement passes, which statement will be dealt upon, which statement will be not, doesn't need to be a question or not. So at a basic level, understand it needs to sound like a question. Otherwise, even if you give a statement, people can acknowledge that and they may not acknowledge that. So it's a difference of opinion there, and things change as you go into collegiate debating. So, it's well respected if you ask it as a question. And I think you guys should focus on questioning more, because once you have your questions more, you will get how to get the statements which you can give, which people have to deal with. Anything else? Anybody? That's it. Okay, Pragya.
Sir, it's a very generic question. Could you just, with the help of an example, explain how are we able to structure our speech? Like give a basic skeleton to our
Okay,
speech.
Pragya, what role do you want to fulfill?
The PM.
PM. Lovely. I'm a PM myself. I'll just open one of my PM speech if I can find, and then I'll talk about it. Gauri, go ask your question till then.
So could you do the same for a web speaker?
I would do that same for a web speaker, but I'm not that good of a web speaker. But I still cover it. Don't worry. Let me
Sir,
just
then
open
you
my notes.
deputy also.
I'll cover every role.
Sir, we have Krishna Pathak also.
Is Patek here in the meeting?
Yes, Sachin.
Oh, okay. We are the best
We
web
have
speaker
three
28.
rhetorics people.
Okay, we have three rhetorics people. Manya, can you cover DPM for them?
Definitely. I was waiting for somebody to ask DPM. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I'll just cover what this PM wala thing, and then DPM will be covered by Manya, and then of course we have the best web speaker in town, so he will cover that.
Thank you.
Okay, simple. Here we have. I will do not focus on this motion on anything. Just focus on this. What a PM and LO does simply is he comes up. His job is to set up a world or paradigm. Next, characterize, then contextualize, then stakeholder listing, flag posting constructives, and analyzing constructives. What are constructive? Constructives are arguments, right? Simple. I'll just see if I have written a speech. Okay, this works well. See, this house believes that social media companies should not require to disclose algorithmic processes used to curate content. Simple. Basically, what the team discussion does is we ask, what is this debate about? This debate is about the algorithms which are used by social media companies. Should that be made public? Should that be in public domain, or should that not be in public domain? Right? Should that be disclosed to general public, or should not? Basically that. Now, once we have cleared, whenever I start my speech, I start panel. First of all, we need to understand that what is this debate about? Once it's clear what is this debate about, then it's clear what definitions do I need to give. Right. So just keep writing this down. Uh, I'll just keep writing this down at your end. First of all, you ask what is this debate about. Second of all, you move to definitions. For example, in this motion, this house believes that THBT. I guess you are all familiar with the full forms, right? THBT, THP, the house
Yes,
prefers.
sir.
Yes,
Huh,
sir.
that's good. So this house believes that social media companies should be required to disclose algorithmic processes used to curate content. So here definitions may I can give maybe what I look as a social media company. The next, what is required to disclose means, then algorithmic processes, and then curated content. Simple. So you go step by step. As a PM, your job is what? Your job is to forecast the debate. What do I mean when I say forecast the debate? Forecasting the debate means predicting the debate. As I said, whenever a debate happens, there's a major chunk of things which people agree upon, but there's this thing which we disagree upon, and this disagreement is the thing which the debate is happening. That is the reason why debate is happening. So the job of the PM is to see how, in what part of the debate will we be disagreeing upon, and in this disagreement, why we stand the high ground. So you predict that in this motion, the clash will be what? The clash will be whether our stakeholders for the present debate are better off in our paradigm or their paradigm. Quite simple. This is what I forecast, and then I just move upon telling how it will be better off in my paradigm and how it is better off in their paradigm. So let me see which arguments I've given. Okay, I've given 4. So basically, this is a PM job. So first of all, what I did, I asked what is this debate about. Second, I give definitions about what these things are. This definition and what is this debate about does what? It set up the world or paradigm. And if it is not a THP motion where you're not preferring a world, your also job is to give a paradigm, the current status quo, the current situation of the world. You also need to include that. Once you have covered all this, once you've given all the basic skeleton of what is this debate about, definitions, and the status quo, then once you set up all this, your job is to contextualize slash characterize. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is to tell, is this thing, is to basically frame. See, contextualization is basically definitions. Characterization is basically setting how you're looking at, and this whole contextualization plus characterization is framing. It's basically how you have given definitions, you have given what this thing is, you have contextualized, you have characterized. Now this whole thing has framed the entire debate into a point of view which you're looking at it. For example, what have we done here? The current online landscape is dominated by social media platforms, complex algorithm, blah blah blah. In social media algorithms are rules, signals, and data that govern platforms operations. These algorithms define how content is filtered, ranked, selected, and recommended to users. Simple statement. I've told you algorithms. And now, next step, which I can go about, is saying why is this important? This is important because these algorithms are controlling what is fed to our generation at such a large level. And this feeding of content decides how the thinking, how the mental, how the unconscious processes of our teenagers, of our society goes. Therefore, these uh, these algorithms are very important and are a very vital form of our society, and if they are not regulated properly, they can lead to the destruction of a society, and society where that happens not at face but happens mentally, unconsciously, and brain rot, right? So what I did here, I gave the definition of algorithm, and then I told you how this algorithm is so important to a society, and when something becomes important in the public domain for people, then it needs to remain with the people. If I'm saying कि algorithms इतने important है जिससे उनकी need की वजह से लोगों का mind and उनकी thinking चल रही है, how people are thinking are being decided by the algorithms, then it needs to be regulated. And this regulation will happen when? This regulation will happen when this thing falls into public domain, when they're disclosed. So I contextualized, characterized for that, and then I frame the thing into a point of view that helps me. Because in this debate, I need to prove what? I need to prove why this disclosing algorithm does the part which I want. So I need to tell why is this important at the first place, and then why this happens. So you contextualize, which means you give definitions. Then you characterize, you just show how this thing is looking according to my eyes, and then you frame the entire debate into helping you to move on to what? To move on to stakeholder analysis. Simplest format, stakeholder analysis you'll cover social media companies, users, and government. Simply. These are also examples which say maintain a competitive advantage, key why these stakeholders are being selected for the debate, and you can cover that as well. So that is simple. So what have we done till now? We have taken what is this debate about, then we have given definitions, and then we have also characterized, contextualized, and framed, and then next stakeholder analysis. And after stakeholder analysis, you can simply move on to your argument. And as a job of a PM, there are arguments and there's a case. Your arguments build your case. Case is in general. My argument will be how this helps this, how this helps this. So basically, consider your case as an umbrella under which your arguments lie. Simple. So, as a job of a PM, you do all this and then you flag post your argument. These are the arguments which my whole case will be covered either by me or the DPM or by the DPM which does not give new arguments. And then you just give one argument and then you basically see how the topic goes. If the topic requires more arguments, then you build one argument, you give one argument to the DPM, or you explain one argument, you explain two arguments, and then the DPM rebuilds it. That's you need to build the coordination with your DPM. And that's where the job of the PM ends. He has set up the debate, he has forecasted, he has given characterization, he has given definitions, he has flag posted constructive, and he has built upon one constructive. This needs to be very strong because this is all the things which your team will be playing off. Hananya, go ahead.
So let's suppose I'm the Prime Minister and I've presented my arguments. But as the leader of opposition, does he have the right to question my arguments in his speech? Or does he have to just,
Definitely.
if I'm going for the. Sorry?
Okay,
Hello?
see, Ananya, in LO, see, LO also gets 7 minutes like the PM. Now, I as a PM has set up my entire world. I've given one argument, I've given everything. Now, the LO can either just sit and cry about my paradigm, ki how the government is dumb, they're setting up a paradigm which does not work, how their arguments are false, or the LO's job is also to set up the paradigm to characterize the world for their team, right? Because if we are building two different, because in every debate we are building two different paradigms. One paradigm where one thing is good and the other paradigm where one thing is bad. Here I'm saying disclosement of the algorithm is bad because of this is this, is good because of this is this, and then the LO will come and his job will be to tell why disclosement of the algorithm is bad because of this. So the LO can do this by either dedicating some amount of speech first countering the arguments which I have said and then go about giving his own arguments. Because see, if the definitions are being agreed upon by both the teams, then Elo does not have the job to give definitions once again. If he wants, he can definitely give, but his job is to set up the world again for their team and to also do what? To give arguments of his own. So he can directly question your arguments, ki what this PM has said is false. Why is it false? It's false because of this. And now, once your arguments, if are proven false or if are maybe broken down, then the job comes of the DPM to see what the LO has said and then to counter that. Again, there's one good thing which you guys have to understand. It might be off topic, but still, once you start rebuttaling, once you start questioning, your job is not to prove the argument, to prove the case which they have said false. You cannot do that. Debating exists on a spectrum as a whole. Your job is not to say ki government is speaking is completely false. If you can do that, well and amazing. If you cannot, that's not your job. It's on a spectrum. Example, this is a strong spectrum, this is a weak, right? The argument when it's set up is set up here. And once you target, it slides to here. See, so it becomes strong to mildly strong. That is your job as countering. That is your job as POS. That is your job as rebuttaling. Not to prove what they're saying as false, but to show what they're saying is not as important. The impact is more or whatever. Rebuttaling and countering will always exist on a spectrum. So do not bother yourself by trying to make what they're saying as false. That's a very difficult job to do, especially when the topics and debates become new ones. Simple. That is the job of a PM. That is and then LO ka job is simply basically countering and setting up the world again. Any doubts on PM and LO?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Manya, please take over. After this, the DPM comes over and she starts a speech. Man, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Should I take 15 seconds and then start my speech?
Ha! The speaker shall take 15
Okay.
seconds and then she'll start the speech.
I've just reached where I wanted to. Okay, anyways, I don't really have content on me, as I always do. But coming on to DPM, firstly, the most difficult job you can ever do in APD. Though Ikshit and Krishna might have other opinions, but DPM is the most difficult job. Okay, guys? And being the DPM, firstly, you need to be your PM's biggest sin, which I really hate about my job. Okay, just give me 1 second and then I'll seriously start. Okay, firstly, coming on to the DPMs or the other job of DLE. Basically, what you need to do is, firstly, I would suggest that in your preparation time, do not focus on your individual role. What you need to do is just listen to your freaking prime minister or your opposition leader. What you need to do is just have this really strong connection or coordination with your prime minister, and you need to discuss what role you want to play. For example, you can just divide your work. Maybe your PM can give arguments and just explain something about the argument, and then you can rebuild. Or secondly, you can just divide the arguments. For example, if you have three arguments, then your PM might cover two arguments, and the later
Manya,
part
Manya,
in the
Manya.
third argument
I'll
you
like
can.
just like to interrupt.
What is your problem,
Just,
Ikshit?
Ma'am, we
just,
Ikshit
just,
can't hear
always
you
likes to
clearly.
just,
interrupt.
Manya, just mute yourself. Nobody can understand you. It's fine, actually. It's so sad. I gave you one job and you're not
I
able to
really
fulfill
wanted to know about the
You
DPM.
it. I'll remove
literally
you, Manya.
and
Okay, I'll just take over from here. It's fine. That's how Manya is. Ah, it's fine, Tasniba.
well, now I'm audible.
A little background issues are there, but
It is
your
audible.
speech
Ma'am,
was
there's a
If
lot of
you
informative.
background
listen
noise on your
carefully,
side. That's why we
you
cannot
can
Your
hear
understand
me.
you.
speech, there's a lot of
Okay,
feedback.
wait. Hi guys. Audible.
Okay, that is quite good audibility. Ha, continue, Manya. I'll let you take over.
Yeah,
Cover
we
my.
can hear.
Okay. Now am I audible? Did anyone understand what I just said? Past 30
Yes,
No,
seconds?
nothing.
I understand.
I
Nothing.
heard a little.
Now your voice is
Ma'am,
crystal
there was a
clear.
lot
You
of
background
basically
noise.
said about
Use
the setting of relation, like setting of great connection with your prime minister or your LO.
And rebuild his
Listen to your LO or the
argument.
Prime Minister only, you said. But we almost got nothing because there were issues.
Well, dirty, like PM or LO because they're mean people. Anyways, coming seriously, since it's 142 even party has to cover, what you need to do is just build a really strong connection or a coordination with your prime minister or LO, because either you can go two ways about it. Either you can just divide the arguments, like if you have three arguments, your PM can cover two of them and you can cover the last argument and go on to rebut or provide anything new constructive you want to a new rebuttal. Or what you can do is your PM can just signpost arguments and tell a little about it, and you can just rebuild on his arguments from a new perspective. Basically, the job of a second speaker is to defend the argument, to strengthen the argument, and to position it. Your most important job, I would say, is rebuttal. Rebuttal, I think Ikshita has quite well explained what a rebuttal actually is. But for example, you are the DPM. So your job is to rebut all the arguments that your LO has made. And what your LO will do is, for example, your PM has set up his definitions, he has given his arguments, one, two, three. Your LO will just come up, try to tell why his definition is more important, try to give new arguments. So what you need to do as a DPM is, firstly, you need to rebut what your leader of opposition has already said. Rebut his arguments, whatever he has given. If he has challenged the definition, you need to also prove the burden why your definition stands true even after he has rebutted it. Why is it more important? And then again, you have to also rebut his arguments. You have to either rebuild what your PM has already said, or you can just provide a new constructive if you think your PM has already stated his argument very well. Now, how to predict what is missing in your PM's arguments or your leader of opposition's argument? There are three things. Basically, why, how, and impact. Now, when you are giving an argument, what you need to do is give a proper mechanization of the argument as well. You need to tell the panel, like, if I'm giving an argument, why does this argument actually work? How is it working? Why does it stand true? Why is it important? And if it is true, if it is important, how will it actually look upon the stakeholders? What is the impact of my argument? So, for example, I like the pride wala topic. So, basically, in a world where pride as an emotion does not exist, firstly, your PM will come up and give a definition. For example, he can say, pride is a negative emotion, which is just a feeling of self entitlement and narcissism, as one of you stated earlier. And then, you can give an argument about how, if pride as an emotion does not exist, what will happen is this narcissism, which we will explain as self entitlement or self centeredness towards yourself. If it does not exist, what will happen is people will rather, just focusing on themselves. Like, for example, in status quo, as people focus more on themselves, if this does not exist, people can work more towards society. People can work more together. Something on that, on those lines, if I'm explaining it well. So you basically need to understand what your PM is actually saying. You need to be very attentive during your PM's or your leader of opposition speech. You need to note down what he's actually saying. That really helps out a lot. And then if you find something missing or you think something has not been explained very well, then you can cover it in your speeches. And I think that is about the rebuilding part. And one thing is really important: do not repeat your PM's arguments, because your adjudicator there will get bored. He will tell you that, your PM came, he already gave this argument. You don't need to repeat it. If you think that, you are not that strong at rebuilding, what you can do is just focus more on rebut for now, and, tell your PM that, maybe he could give one argument of yours to you. Rebuilding is kind of really I would say not difficult, but hard to explain and hard to also do in your own speeches. But then again, you have to do it. I can't do anything about it. Basically, rebuttal. What is rebuttal? You're basically refuting your opponents, telling why they are wrong or what they are doing is wrong, then exploiting their weak points. Basically, if you find something in your opposition's case you feel is really weak and you can easily rebut it. Also, when you are doing your speech, 7 minutes might feel like a lot of time to you right now, but as you progress towards it, 7 minutes is actually quite a short time. So even in your rebuttals, you need to actually prioritize which point is the weakest, which point should you rebut first. And then with this list of priorities, go about rebuttal. Time your speeches, like, you need to well prepare ki how much time will I give to rebuttals, how much time will I give to rebuilding, and if I have new constructive, how much time will I give to that. If your PM has covered all your arguments well, then what you need to do is you could maybe cover the stakeholders, because he will I think PM's job is also to signpost all the stakeholders. So if you think, yeah, that the arguments are well covered, what you can do is just, go on to the stakeholders, like what is the impact on stakeholders, how will it affect the world. That's about DPM's or DLO's job. I would say DLO's job is way easier than the DPM's job, because in DPM you can only rebut your opposition leader and defend your case. But in DLO you have the job to actually rebut your PM and your DPM as well. And what you need to do is, firstly, if the PM is well rebutted by the DLO, then what you can do is just rebut the DPM. What you need to do in DLO is then rebut the DPM, cover your own case, why what the DPM has said does not stand true. You need to explain your arguments very, very well, very deeply, very well mechanized, and then you can just go about your own case, provide new constructives, rebuild on the PM's case. I don't know, Ikshit. What else do you think? I can't do my job right.
It's fine, man. So she's explained it quite well. Okay. And she said something which is quite good. Okay, again, always listen to your PM very well. Why? Because see, you only have 25 minutes to prepare, right? So in that discussion, don't discuss what you will be speaking in your speech by word. Just discuss, this is the case, this is the argument, these are the stakeholders, this is how we see the debate. Fine, write your speeches. Because see, if you start discussing what exactly I will be speaking in my 7 minutes, then in the 7 minutes which I'm actually giving my speech, my DPM is just sitting there doing nothing. So instead of discussing that, always discuss the framing, characterization, and the arguments, right? And then segregate the arguments, or if you are going for the rebuilding approach, rebuild your arguments. Do that. And the job of a DPM will be way more impromptu when she or he listens to the speech of the PM at the exact same time he's giving it, because then you save time in your prep time efficiency of 25 minutes, so you guys can write your speeches faster, you can know what is happening, and then you can simply go about listen to the PM speech and then being impromptu about it. See, everybody needs to understand that the APD ka debating format is more about impromptu. You need to be very flexible, you need to be adaptive. How the debate goes is not dependent on how you're thinking it will go. Because imagine you set up a whole case, a whole rebuttal about this, then the LO just comes up and he flips the debate, he just shifts the definition. Now you need to prepare, yes, this was my case, this is what my PM was saying. So as a DPM, now this LO has shifted the definition. I will bring the debate back to our home this way. So it's more about impromptu stuff. Simple. Chal, go ahead.
So, like you said, we should focus more on writing our speeches. So, if I'm the whip speaker, I do not know what the opposition is going to say. I can.
Okay, that will be covered by Krishna Pathak. What Krishna does is he does not write anything. In the start of the speech, he just sitting there and he's like, I'll just see how the debate goes, because he has so much time. Say 7, about 4 speakers go before in 28 minutes. Simple. And then his job comes. So he is writing a speech as the debate is forming. What his job is also of a whip, he will cover that definitely better than me. But what his job is to just predict ki this is the case we are setting up, and these will be the common rebuttals which can be given by them, and they need to know what will be the answer to these common rebuttals which are given by them. Simple. Pathak will just cover that in depth right now. I'll just attend to Yashashvi. Hi, Yashashvi.
So how do we ensure that if you're going as PM, then to keep our talk for 7 minutes or 6.5 maybe, and not too less, because mostly what we've practiced or done is 4 minutes, maximum 5 minutes.
See, in normal debates, you are given 4 minutes to speak, and that is enough.
Yes.
See, you will automatically shift your speech to 7 minutes. You think 7 minutes is more, but once you start following the structure which I gave you, which is why is this debate about definition, characterization, stakeholders, you have n number of things to speak. And see, it sometimes happens that your speech is ending before you want to end it, right? For example, I as a PM, as every speaker, keep one thing in your backpack. What do I mean by that? I mean by that, once we segregate the work in my team as a PM in my team is to do what? Is to give the characterization, framing, contextualization, and then give one argument. See, what I keep in my backpack is stakeholders' benefits, stakeholder analysis with benefits. And if my speech is ending before I want to end, either I can repeat what I've given just to hammer that in, or I can go stakeholder benefits. Stakeholder benefits looks something like this. Social media companies, why they are important to this debate? Because they can maintain a competitive advantage, keeping the algorithm secret, improve content personalization. These are the stakeholder analysis with benefits.
Yes.
So always keep one thing in your backpack, and if you see how my speech is ending before I want it to end, either start going a little bit slow so you can explain more better, and then rebuild your speech which you have given, and then just keep one thing in backpack by your teams. I keep stakeholder benefits, so you can keep something else. It's simple. You'll
So can we
always
also preempt? Can we also preempt?
Definitely. Preempt is a very good thing. I think when I say a PM's job is to forecast a debate, it is preemptive, but not in an argumentative sense, but in a case sense. Because I said case is the umbrella under which the arguments lie, right? And as a PM, you do not preempt the argument, you preempt the case which they will be building.
Okay.
Okay. Oratrix, Manya, what is your doubt? Ask.
I was saying two things. Firstly, I would say that 7 minutes might feel like a very long time for all the people who are doing the PM or if they become the DLO. If you follow whatever, the strategy or whatever signposting of content Ikshit Yuvraj has done, you will really have a lot to cover because he's actually giving quite a good detail of what a PM has to do. If you actually, go about how he's explained how to do a PM or a DLO, then I think you will actually, have lesser time, and your DPM or your DLO will have a lot to cover in their own speeches. You always
Manya again.
smiling.
Second thing I
I'm
was
just
saying
happy mine is
was
rebuilding my
that
points rather than repeating.
I will kill you if you repeat that once again. Anyways, what I was saying next was DPM and DLO. I would really suggest that do not focus on writing your own speeches because if you do, then you will probably mess up, and your PM or your DLO will go all about how you do not do your job well, like my PM does always. What you need to do is just stay very active during the debate, because before you have to speak you have a PM and a leader of opposition coming in. Your main job, the most time that you will give to your speech, is going in rebutting. So you just need to be very active during that time, and you will have a lot of time. Sometimes it happens that your opposition has not really said anything, and you don't really have anything to say in the rebutting wala part. So then again, you can just bring it to the panel and be like, okay, so basically rebutting is not really an easy job. I have nothing really to rebut because our opposition here does not really give us any arguments. You can just be sarcastic about it, and then you can just rebuild the case, and you can go on the stakeholders analysis or whatever is left of the PM's or the DLO's speech. And second thing I was saying was that I felt when most of you were giving
Ma'am, we
arguments.
cannot hear you. Sorry.
Yes, Taspira, were you saying anything?
No, ma'am, by
I
mistake my mic
Okay,
was
I'll
on.
okay,
just
it's
cover
fine.
first,
I
then
was saying
Partha can begin with.
pictures. I was just saying that what I felt during their arguments was that they were moving more going for the conventional debating wala approach. So just clear thoda sa difference between the APD and the conventional debating wala.
Okay. I think they were doing quite great, but okay. See,
They were doing quite good, I would say.
for the first arguments, they were going quite great. I think वो लोग खुद समझ जाएंगे. Let's just cover it, everything fast. Achal, हाँ, tell.
So I wanted to ask that if the DPM or the DLO rebuts everything, then what will the whip speaker do?
Oh,
I
अभी
think
रुक जा.
whip speaker's job
No,
is
no,
to
no,
rebut.
no. Rebutting is different. When you rebuttal, you dismantle their case by building yours. Okay. And a whip's job is basically to say, okay, Patek will cover the whip job quite simply, but they might sound similar, but whip's job is completely focused on that. His job is to completely target this has happened in the debate, this is what they said, this is what they said, and why this is better than this. While the DPM is rebutting what they have said, she or he also builds the case which is left of theirs. So it's like building a complete wall. I'll tell you. PM and DPM are the wall builders. These two people build the walls. And what whips do, they just stand in between these two walls and they're like, okay, this wall is better than this wall. Why? I'll tell you why. Simple. That's how it goes. Vidyansh, go ahead.
Can you tell me what a DPM should do in the 30 minutes time, free time? That's that.
Manya, what do you do
And
in the 30 minutes free time? Rather than just laughing around and doing nothing, what do you do?
What I do is just listen to both of these people laugh around and do nothing. But I would suggest that during your 30 minutes preparation time or 25 minutes, whatever it is, what you can do is just provide, it's basically a team discussion. Your web will also provide arguments, your PM will also provide arguments, you should also provide arguments. And basically, I think the most important thing that you need to do as a DPM or a DLO is focus. Like you can also preempt rebuts. If you know an argument, you will also know the opposition kya bolega is आगे. So you can prepare your rebuttal at that time if you are smart enough. So you don't have to be that impromptu during your own speeches. And the most focus your should be in preparation time is to listen, because one thing you need to understand is your PM is going to give a 7 minute speech about what he has written. PMs and the DLO speeches are the speeches that are only well written, and they know what they are going to do. The DPMs, the DLOs, and the web speakers are the ones who have to write their speeches while the debate is ongoing. So what you need to do is just really be clear about what your PMs wants to present. Because if you don't really understand it, might be it happens that you are contradicting your own case, and that will be really stupid on your own side. So what you need to do is actually listen to your PM, have a good connection, have a good coordination with him or her, whatever it is, and then know your own case very well. I think that's about it, because if you do it quite well, if you know what you're going to say, you will also know कि okay, my PM has said this, he has left out this part of his speech, so I'll cover this in my speech. So just be very clear about your own roles. If you're feeling nervous about rebuilding that, then what you can do is just discuss with your PM. Ask him like you can cover these two arguments. I'll cover this argument. That is how it will work. So basically, focus really on your team coordination and how you want to go about your PM and DPM speech, because these are the two speeches that are very well interconnected and they go hand in hand. That's about it.
Okay,
Thank
I
you. Very
think
well
that's
explained.
simple. Pathak, just cover the whip in brief. Tell them, and we'll just take doubts and then we'll end the session. We're already way over time.
Yeah, sure. Before I begin, anyone, is there anyone who has a coaching or needs to go in a few minutes? Just write it down the time that you need to go out.
I think जिनको जाना था जा चुके. We had like 67 people. Now we only have 46.
Still, if there's anyone, just write it down in the chat so that I'm mentally prepared.
Please
Okay,
don't
I
give
believe
him
not.
too much of time. I do not want to listen how to do whip.
Yeah, I will tell them extensively in that case. Okay. Like, are they easily? 2:32 is way late.
Like, yeah, no, I don't want to listen to this man blabber for 30 minutes.
I just tell Pathak has a whip structure that is excellent and nobody can rebut that. He is like the best speaker.
I don't even have a structure. Oh, 2-5. Shut up, Richard.
Sir, I have to go to coaching. Please finish first.
Shut up, Richard. Okay. All right, everyone. Just a second. Yeah. Richard, can you please stop sharing your screen? I'll share mine.
पाठक तुम पीपीटी भी लाए हो मुझसे वेल
Pathak is too well prepared.
अभी अभी बनाई है देखो
और
अभी
ये
अभी
दो
बनाई है
रोटरी
against a lot
सोसाइटी
of
क्यों है
others.
भाई
No one is going to judge me. Okay. Is my screen visible and am I clearly audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Cool. So now before
एक
I
सेकंड रुकना एक सेकंड रुकना किसी ने कहा यस मैम इट्स विजिबल
okay guys, just to be clear, मेरी
Yes,
आवाज
ma'am.
तो मैं हूँ लड़का.
पाठक कैमरा खोलो ना अभी सुंदर शक्ल दिखा दो उन लोग को
Not at all, it should.
Okay, it's fine. We'll just
No, guys,
continue.
no, it should stay silent. Okay. All those who are a web speaker or want to be, can you please give me a quick raise of hand so that I know? Yeah. Okay, I'll just open the participants list. Right, so we have about 9 web speakers, 8, 9. Okay, great. All right, everyone. See, there are 6 very basic, simple things that you need to do. And इसमें से पहले वाला is a thing that generally no one is going to tell you in a web speakers. But the reality is that, see, when you go in an APD, everyone is giving a 7-minute speech and at such a rapid rate that the judges are fed up. And not only the judges, but especially if there is any audience. So for the web speaker to capture attention, it is very, very difficult. And that is why there is something very simple that you all know that you need to do something to hook the audience. I'll just give you one strategy to do it that several of you might already be knowing, that is break the general notion. There might be several general notions in debates. There might be several general notions in the world. Just break it. Anything. Just go against what this world believes and you will be able to capture the attention. Not something that I'll give a lot of time on. Moving on. Secondly, rebutting. See, of course, when you are the web speaker, there is at least someone from the opposition team who has spoken before you. And so, of course, you need to rebut that person. But also, one thing that you need to realize is that, see, your PM and your DPM can rebut several of the points of side opposition, but cannot rebut each and every single argument presented by side opposition. And what happens several times in a parliamentary debate is that your edge is going to say that even though side opposition gave a point, an argument that was not very strong, but because side government failed to rebut it or engage with it entirely, so this argument goes in favor of side opposition. So you lost on a very, very basic and simple argument. Therefore, what you need to ensure is that आपके PM and DPM they would have covered almost all of the important arguments and would have refuted them. But there would at least be 1 or 2 leftover arguments which are not so important. Just give a very small rebuttal for them at least. Of course, they are not so very important, so you need not spend 1 minute on each of them, but at least spend 1 or 2 lines so that your edge knows, okay, at least side government engaged with that argument presented by side opposition. Okay, so That is first thing that you need to refute. The speaker that came just before you and the leftover arguments. All right. That was your rebuttal part. And of course, how you rebut and what you need to do in that, I believe that that's already been covered extensively, so I won't waste more time into that. Next comes the most important job of a whip speaker, that is clash analysis. By the way, guys, just a quick disclaimer. Some of you asked some questions before to Ichit and Manya, like, what do you do in the preparation time, or what if your teammates are too good and they've already covered everything. I'll be covering all of that. Don't worry, I have all their answers. Okay, so now coming to the most important job for any whip speaker, which is clash analysis. See, understand that for the judges, these clashes are the main point, are the most important point. Why? Because a judge is way more likely to judge the entire debate, not individually on what side government and opposition presented, but on the basis of clashes. So a judge will not say, okay, side government gave 4 arguments, 4 points. A side opposition gave 4 arguments, 3 points. No, gave 3 arguments, 3 points. No, the judge is not going to do that. What judge is going to do is, there were 4 clashes in the debate. 2 of them went in favor of side government, 1 went in favor of side opposition, and 1 was nullified. So he's going to look at the debate from that point of view. And because of that, because the judge is only going to look at the clashes mainly, therefore the clashes become very, very important. Your job as the whip speaker is to win these clashes. And in order to win these clashes, you need to do something called as weighing, which is basically a technical term, nothing much to worry about. Now the question is, how do you do this weighing? For this, there are several ways that you can use, right? And even me and several good, great, much better debaters than me, none of them would know all the points, all the things that you can use to weigh different clashes. But at least the some most common ones are likelihood analysis. Basically, you need to prove to me that in this clash, what side government said was this, what side opposition said was this, but side government's clash is more likely to be true. And that is why, because of likelihood analysis. The question is, how do you do this likelihood analysis? Again, there can be thousands of ways. Some most common ones are, firstly, in order to do likelihood analysis, what you need to give me is incentive and capacity to do something. See, understand, if a person, if today I'll ask that companies should give away 10% of their profits to charities. Now, this is something that I need to ask 2 questions. Firstly, will companies be willing to do so? That is, are they incentivized to do so? So that will come in incentive. And secondly, do they even have the capacity to do so? That will come in capacity or feasibility. For example, if I say that government would invite Tesla to build its cars in India. Okay. So firstly, the question will be, is the incentive? Why would Tesla want to come to India? So maybe the incentive that can be is that there won't be any import duties charged in that case. And government will maybe give some production linked incentives as well. So because of both of these things, Tesla will be able to increase its profits as its costs are reducing. And therefore, Tesla is incentivized to bring its production to India. Secondly, it would be, does Tesla have the capacity to start this production in India? So of course you can say that, see, Tesla has huge funds. So of course they have the capacity to bring their technology to India, bring their, bring their production to India. And of course, if they want, then the government is going to give them some sort of tax concessions. So because of that, they have the capacity to build their production to bring their production to India. So you are basically giving me incentive and capacity both to prove your likelihood. While on the other hand, if side opposition comes and say that, see, Tesla does not have the incentive to come to India. Why? Because they are way more likely to get a return on investment in the United States as compared to India. And because of that, they are incentivized to stay in United States as compared to coming to India. Okay. So side opposition said, this is why we have the incentive. But then on the capacity point, they were not able to prove why Tesla does not have the capacity to bring their production to India. And so Government gave you both incentive and capacity, while side opposition give you only the incentive and failed to provide capacity. Therefore, this argument will be more likely to become true in case of side government, and so the likelihood analysis would go in favor of side government. Is this clear? Is there any doubt in this? Just let me open this. Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Okay, guys, just a quick disclaimer. I am a boy, not a girl. Okay, you can call me Bhaiya. Sir, ma'am की जरूरत नहीं है.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Bhaiya.
All right. So that was the first likelihood analysis that you can do. Other thing that you can do in order to prove this likelihood is historical precedence. Do you have some example in history which can prove your likelihood? Okay, so maybe you can say that because United States intervened once in Afghanistan way back, so they can do so once again, right? So this will be you using an example of the past, that is historical precedence, to prove your point. Now, when you are using historical precedence, there is something that you need to keep in mind. That is, the world keeps changing. So if something happened 1,000 years back, and you are using its example to prove to me that it will happen today, then you also need to prove me कि भाई 1000 साल पहले जो हुआ था वो आज फिर से होना जरूरी क्यों है? Because the world is changing. For example, if I say that people, okay, it was fine for people to walk without clothes at the very beginning of mankind, right? So it should be fine even today. But that is basically a flawed argument because things have changed way more in the past, right? अभी चीजें एकदम बदल चुकी हैं, right? अभी अगर रणवीर सिंह फोटोशूट कराता है तो मारा जाएगा, okay? So because of that, यहाँ पे historical precedence तो है, but if you are not able to prove to me that this example would exist even today, then you will not be able to win historical precedence. Okay, so likelihood analysis can be proved by 2 points: incentive and capacity, or historical precedence, or there are several other ways, but these are 2 that I'm going to tell you right now. After that, another weighing method that you can use to win a clash is marginal benefit. Marginal benefit would be like to say that side government is also giving you some benefit, side opposition is also giving you some benefit, but the benefit that side government is giving you is more as compared to the benefit that side opposition is giving you. For example, if government says that we are able to save people, and if opposition also says that we are saving lives, but government says that we are saving 100 lives and they are able to prove so, and opposition says that we are able to save 75 lives and are able to prove so, then in that case, government would win this because of marginal benefit, because they are able to save more number of people. Or, for example, if government says that we are able to help 10 people and make their income 2x, while opposition says that we are also able to help 10 people, but we are making their income 3x. So, over here, the number of people to being helped is same, but because opposition is helping each one of them higher, so opposition has a greater marginal benefit in this. Guys, I know that I'm going a little quick, so just tell me if there is any doubt in this. Okay, wonderful. All right. Ichit, are you here? Ichit, see, you know that I've been taking middle classes for this entire week, so I don't know the speed. जिसमें मुझे अभी बताना चाहिए. Tell me, do I need to go same or faster or slower?
I think you're going fine, but हम लोग पे लोग leave कर रहे हैं काफी. Only have 34.
Okay, that's fine to me.
हाँ. Basically अभी तुम VP cover कर रहे हो ना तो I think all the VIP speakers are here, so that's fine.
Right. All right. Coming to the third weighing tool that you can use is efficiency. Okay. Now see, efficiency.
Patrick, not to interrupt, but like just end in next 7 minutes.
Okay. I'll try. Okay. See, efficiency. I'm sure we all know the meaning of efficiency, but whenever you are trying to play on efficiency, remember to prove both of these things. If you say to me that you have a greater accuracy, so you are more efficient, I'll kill you. you need to, or if you say to me that you have a greater speed and that is why you have efficiency, I'll kill you. You need to tell me both, that you have accuracy as well as the speed, and only then you can say that your system is more efficient. So these are three methods that you can use to weigh your clashes and prove that you win a clash over the other side. All right. Okay.
What would you define as accuracy? Like
Accuracy is basically, see, if I say that this doctor is efficient because he is able to operate 100 people in 10 minutes, but then what the result is that 90 of them die. So is he really accurate? No. Accuracy is basically जो normal मतलब होता है वही है, that you are, तुम सही काम कर रहे हो, स्पीड से तो कर रहे हो बट तुम्हारा काम सही भी हो रहा है, गलत तो नहीं हो जा रहा है. Are you able to get it?
yes, I understand now. Thanks.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So you come as the VP speaker, you rebut the points, you give the clashes, then you can give exclusive benefits. Now this is something optional because several times your clashes itself can do the jobs of exclusive benefits. But if you have time left and if you want to say, then you can give me some exclusive benefits. Exclusive benefits, जैसे नाम से clear है, that there will be some benefits that only exist in your paradigm, in your case, and do not exist at all in case of side opposition. अब ऑफ कोर्स क्योंकि साइड अपोजिशन में ये चीज है ही नहीं, so there cannot be a clash because clash exists only at commonalities, right? This is something that does not happen in side opposition. So you can clearly say, देखो side opposition में तो कुछ है ही नहीं इस बारे में, side government में इस बारे में ये है, so this is an exclusive benefit that we have. So you can either prove your own exclusive benefits and you can you can prove that their exclusive benefits are wrong or not important. Is that clear? Any questions in this? Yeah, answer.
So like if we do clash analysis, then do we have to mention those clashes where the opponent has won? Like this clash has been won by the opponent. Do we need to mention that in the whip speaker speech?
Okay, see, your job as the whip speaker is to mold your arguments in such a way, mold your clashes in such a way that you win each and every clash. ठीक है? So there can be two cases. पहला केस तो चलो मैं तुम्हारा ही वाला लेता हूँ कि अगर तुम कुछ भी कर लो and you are not able to win a clash, then if that clash is not very important to the debate, you can drop it. Okay? But अगर वो clash important है, तो do anything but prove that you are able to win it. See, generally क्या होता है कि there is some clash जहां पर तुम likelihood analysis पर हार रहे होगे, but marginal benefit पे जीत रहे होगे. So at least prove that your marginal benefit is better off. Okay? So if there is a clash जहां पे तुम एक तरीके से weighing में नहीं better off हो, मे बी तुम दूसरे तरीके से होगे, वैसे प्रूव कर दो. और अगर कैसे भी नहीं हो, then two cases can exist. Either that clash is very important and that clash is not important. अगर वो क्लैश बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और तुम तब भी प्रूव नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो बस कहने के लिए कह दो, जस्ट गैसलाइट द पीपल इनटू बिलीविंग दैट यू आर बेटर ऑफ. एंड सेकंड थिंग, अगर वो क्लैश इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है तो ड्रॉप इट. ओके?
Okay, so understood.
All right. Okay, guys, moving on. Coming to the fifth thing, that is a stakeholder analysis. Now, I think that you all already know what a stakeholder is or what a stakeholder analysis is. Is there anyone who does not know stakeholder analysis? I'll explain that in 1 minute, if there is any. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, wonderful. So moving on to the last thing that a web speaker needs to do is best case versus worst case scenario. Now, I know that yesterday, I think it was already covered yesterday or day before, but just a very quick recap. You need to tell me that how your case is better even if you take your opponent's case at their best, and you need to tell me how your case is still better even if you take your case at its worst. मतलब तुम्हारा सबसे खराब केस भी अपोनेंट के सबसे अच्छे केस से अगर तुम बेटर प्रूव कर पा रहे हो, so that would be best case and worst case scenario. All right, so that is more or less the layout of a web speaker. You rebut, then you come on to the clashes, then you come on to the exclusive benefits. Now, ये जो stakeholder analysis है, this is one of the most important jobs of a web speaker, right? One of them. along with clash analysis. तो इसको जनरली ना क्लैश एनालिसिस में ही तुम लोग यूज कर सकते हो. जैसे कि यू कैन टेल मी कि देखो ये वाला क्लैश मैं जीत गया, ये वाला क्लैश इज मोर लाइकली कि मैं कर सकूं. ठीक, अब उसी क्लैश में अगर तुम स्टेक होल्डर एनालिसिस भी डाल दो तो कई बार तुम ये भी कर सकते हो कि इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू विन अ क्लैश ऑन लाइकलीहुड और मार्जिनल बेनिफिट और एफिशिएंसी, just try to win that clash in that case on stakeholder analysis. Okay, yeah, benefits that a stakeholder are getting. Now, I'll come to this later on if there is time remaining. I'll come to some more important things. See, several times what will happen is that your debate may be running parallel. मतलब कि साइड गवर्नमेंट कुछ बिल्कुल ही अलग कहानी चला रही होगी और साइड ऑपोजिशन कुछ बिल्कुल ही अलग कहानी चला रही होगी. In that case, finding a common point जो कि तुम्हारा क्लैश बन सके becomes very 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 difficult. So in that case still I think you will be able to find one or two clashes. By experience I can say that उनको तो क्लैश में बता देना. Then what you can do in that case is prove that your case is more likely to be true. दोनों साइड्स अपना बिल्कुल ही अलग केस चला रही थी जो बिल्कुल अलग वर्ल्ड्स में चल रहे थे. Say that your world is more likely to be true. Then secondly prove me कि देखो पहले तो हमारा वाला केस ज्यादा लाइकली है कि ट्रू है, बट और अगर हमारा केस ट्रू है तो ऑफ कोर्स हम बेटर ऑफ हैं, वो तुम लोग बता दोगे कैसे. लेकिन अगर हम एक बार को अज्यूम कर लें कि उनका वाला केस सच हो जाता है तब उनके वाले केस में भी हम ही बेटर ऑफ होंगे. That is what you need to do when your debate is running parallel. I'll share all this with you. I'll ask Kitchi to share it, so you guys need not worry, or you can refer to it later. Okay? Is there any doubt in this? Quickly.
No, ma'am.
No, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Coming to the next thing, that is, what should you do in your preparation times? In your preparation time, mainly think what your opponent is going to present as arguments or rebuttals, and then help your teammates write their speeches. Okay. Now see, of course you understand what you mean by thinking of your opposition's likely arguments and rebuttals. That is like preempt. But then ये सोच के अपने पास आंसर लिख के मत रख लेना कि जब मेरी स्पीच आएगी तब मैं ये रिबटल दूंगा, so I'll get more scores. See, if you can understand a rebuttal or a weak link in your teammate's argument in the preparation time, then tell your speaker to your teammate to fix that right then and there, so that तुम्हारे opposition को chance ही ना मिले उसको rebut करने का. Because तुम opposition को rebut करने के बाद भी अपनी speech में उसको defend कर सकते हो. But then in that case, even though you got points for refuting, for answering to that refutation or rebuttal, still your opponent would have got some extra points for refuting or for that rebuttal. And opponent को point कोई नहीं देना चाहता. उससे बेटर क्या है कि तुम्हारा टीममेट ही बेटर स्कोर कर पाए, वो उस rebuttal को पहले ही अपनी स्पीच में कवर कर ले, so that वो weak link बचे ही ना. So opposition के arguments and rebuttals के बारे में सोचो, inform your teammates तुरंत, so that and help them write their speeches in the preparation time. अपनी speech preparation time में you need not write. Okay? Right. Now, coming to the third question, जो अभी किसी ने पूछा भी था कि what if your teammates are too good and have covered everything, or like clash analysis, stakeholder analysis, etc. See, when I went last time with Ichit and Manya, they both are so good that Ichit covered everything like stakeholder analysis and stuff. And Manya covered even the best case and worst case scenario that generally the web speakers do. And then in दोनों ने अपनी speech में they had presented arguments in such a manner कि clash analysis भी हो गया था. So now actually क्या मेरे पास as a web speaker कोई ज़्यादा important काम बचा भी था? No. So then what can you do in such a situation? In such a situation, think of it in a new situation. That is, देखो, हो सकता है कि तुम्हारे टॉपिक में ऐसा कहीं पर मेंशन्ड ना हो कि डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड या डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड की स्पेसिफिकली बात हो रही. तो अगर वो मेंशन्ड नहीं है तब भी तुम्हारी गवर्नमेंट ने ज्यादातर डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड की बात की है, सो यू कैन टॉक अबाउट द मोशन इन द डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड. ओके, सो यू कैन चेंज वेयर द मोशन इज प्लेइंग. एंड दिस इज जस्ट वन एग्जांपल. ऐसा कई बार होता है कि कई सारे आर्गुमेंट्स के बहुत एस्पेक्ट हो सकते हैं. तुम्हारे बाकी स्पीकर्स ने हो सकता है एक एस्पेक्ट को कवर कर लिया हो, बट एक और एस्पेक्ट भी है जहां पर ये आर्गुमेंट प्ले हो सकता है. थिंक ऑफ दैट एस्पेक्ट, राइट. हो सकता है तुम्हारे अपोनेंट टीममेट्स ने कहा हो कि देखो ये चीज होती है तो उससे ये होता है तो उससे ये होता है, एंड दे हैव डन दिस थिंग. नाउ तुम अगर नए स्टेंस में जाना चाहते हो, यू कैन से देखो मेरे टीममेट ने कहा था कि अगर ए होने से बी होता है तो सी होगा. ये से कि अगर ए होने से बी नहीं भी होता तो कुछ डी होगा, और उस डी से ई होगा, और वो ई भी हमारे फेवर में है. Are you able to get what I'm saying? Like play with it in a new stance, एक अलग केस में, ताकि अगर तुम्हारी गवर्नमेंट गलत भी है तब भी तुम जीत जाओ. ओके?
It's just like rebuilding, right?
Sorry?
Like you, what you're saying is it's just like rebuilding.
Yeah, it is kind of rebuilding. अगर किसी ने तुम में से ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट्री डिबेट किया हो, और if any one of you do that, तो कभी ट्राई करना ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट्री डिबेट. वहां पे you will be able to learn this thing in a much better way, because वहां पे there's something known as member speaker. So that there you will need to do exactly this. It's like taken from there. Okay, Yashasvi.
Yes, sir. Sir, do we have to give solutions in the debate as a web speaker or as a normal speaker, solutions to the problem that we're solving or something?
Okay, so see, तुम जनरली एज अ वेब स्पीकर का इंडिविजुअल काम नहीं है टू गिव सोल्यूशन, बट यस इफ योर मोशन इज अ सोल्यूशन वाला मोशन, लाइक इफ इट इज अ THW मोशन, अ पॉलिसी मोशन विच आर जनरली सोल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड, तो वहां पे एज अ होल तुम्हारी टीम की पूरी जिम्मेदारी होती है सोल्यूशन देना. स्पेसिफिकली वेब स्पीकर के रोल में इट इज नॉट समथिंग इम्पोर्टेंट. ओके,
Okay, thank you, sir.
right. All right. And yes, this is not something very important, but see, in a debate where both the sides are making good arguments, then which side will win, that highly depends upon the web speaker. क्योंकि तुम ही बता पाओगे कि argument तो दोनों के अच्छे थे, but हमारा was better, and that is something you'll do in clash analysis. So you can be your team's most valuable player over there. Just be aware of that. All right. We've already covered almost all the things. Just one more minute. I'll just cover two very general clashes that you'll see a lot. देखो, ज्यादातर debates that you have, वहां पे you can use these two clashes, human happiness and human innovation. If you guys want, किसी भी टॉपिक पे अगर तुम लोग फंस रहे हो, कोई क्लैश नहीं आ रहा, just think of these two clashes. हो सकता है any one of them would work, right? Because human innovation and human happiness is something very, very important. अब, how can you win on human innovation? Human innovation can be won mainly upon incentive and capacity. That is तुम्हारा likelihood analysis वाला. Next, human happiness. Human happiness जीतने के लिए you basically need to prove basic necessities, inclusivity, acceptance, safety, happiness नहीं, easier life, self-actualization, freedom, love and belonging. Basically, give me the entire Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If any one of you does not know that, search for it. It is something that you can use a lot in such happiness-related motions or psychology motions into it. Okay, so yeah, that's more or less about web speaking. That's it from my side. If any one of you have a question.
So you will be sharing this slide with us, right?
Yeah, I'll ask Kitchen to share it, or I'll share on my own.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go
Could
ahead.
any of you give us some tips on reply speeches?
Ichit is a wonderful reply speaker if he's here. Ichit, are you? Okay, so I think he's not here. But see, even in a reply speech, sorry guys, I just forgot to mention one thing, but I think that you guys will already be knowing that the speaker cannot bring in any new arguments, but he can bring in new rebuttals. I hope you all know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So, and just like that, reply speaker, he can't even bring new rebuttals. Usko sab kuch purana hi bolna hota hai. No new arguments, no new rebuttals. But the job of a reply speaker is more or less like that of a whip speaker. Okay? He will also do all the clashes. He will also do the clash analysis. He will state all the clashes, बताएगा कि कौन सा clash उसकी team ले गई, and he'll mainly be doing that. तो तुम्हारा clashes, exclusive benefit, stakeholder analysis. Generally यही चीजें होती हैं जो reply speaker करता भी है. And one more thing, from a debates point of view, judges, देखो रिप्लाई स्पीच के बहुत ज्यादा पॉइंट्स होते नहीं है, एंड कई बार ऑनेस्टली होते ही नहीं है. कई बार होते भी हैं, बट कुछ बार होते भी नहीं. सो दैट्स नॉट समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट इफ यू गेट इट, you need to do mainly clash analysis, stakeholder analysis, exclusive benefits.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, no issues. Anyone else?
But sir, wouldn't that already be covered by the web speaker? So what is new in the reply speech?
Nothing. Reply speech does not have anything new. That is its job. But still, देखो, you can bring in like छुपा हुआ new thing, something that does not feel like it's new, but it is new. So that is something that you can learn only from a lot of practice of reply speeches. But that is, and whether reply speeches are so less important that कई बार तुमको मॉक्स में ना रिप्लाई स्पीच दिखेंगी, ना कई बार तुमको कॉम्पिटिशन्स में भी नहीं दिखेंगी, स्टिल है तो है. Okay, stakeholder analysis is basically who asked these questions? Yeah, Anushruti. Anushruti, do you know what stakeholders are? What are who, depending?
Like, can you please give a quick recap of stakeholder?
All right, don't worry. See, a stakeholder is someone or something that is affected from your debate motion. For example, if I'm saying that this house would ban individuals from buying a second car, okay? So, all right, I'll give a marginal benefit wala also. So, if I'm saying that this house would ban individuals from buying a second car, then who are the people who are affected in this motion? Of course, the individuals are affected, right? Secondly, because it is about buying a second car, so car companies have been affected, okay?
Yes.
And thirdly, देखो buying a second car का एक reason क्या हो सकता है? Maybe environment वाला. So environment is being affected. All these stuff. So अगर कोई भी चीज ऐसी है, कोई भी इंसान ऐसा है, कोई भी आइडिया ऐसा है जिस पे फर्क पड़ता है तुम्हारी डिबेट मोशन से, then it becomes your stakeholder. It can be a person, it can even be an idea like democracy, it can even be country, right? It can be any tangible or intangible thing as well. So these are stakeholders. Pragya, if you want, you can leave now. I'm just taking over the doubts and there's nothing more left. If you want, you can leave. Okay. So these are the stakeholders. A stakeholder analysis basically means कि तुम्हारे stakeholder, is he being benefited from this debate motion or not? Right? Benefits to stakeholders basically.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Gauri, the marginal benefits are basically you saying that, see, this benefit is true inside government. Okay. Yeah, see, Pragya, recording will end as soon as the meeting ends, but it is such a heavy file that processing it takes at least a few hours. So it won't be, we won't be able to attach it at the right present. Okay, so marginal benefits basically mean that this benefit is true in both the cases, inside government KB and inside opposition KB. But inside government's case, this benefit is more. For example, Gauri, if I say to you that side government will give you 500 rupees and side opposition will give you 1000 rupees. Now, which side do you think will be better for you?
The opposition, because it's giving 1,000 rupees.
Exactly. That is exactly what marginal benefit means. That both the sides are giving some benefit to the stakeholder, but side opposition is saying that we are giving more benefit. Now, this more benefit can be in two ways. Either you are giving the benefit to a greater number of people, or you are giving the same level of benefit. Either you are giving the same level of benefit to the greater number of people, or you are giving a greater benefit to the same number of people. That is, या तो मैं कह दूं कि वो 500 रुपए 10 लोगों के दे रहे हैं और मैं 500 रुपए 20 लोगों को दे रहा हूं, so I am better. Or I can say कि वो 500 रुपए 10 लोगों को दे रहे हैं और मैं 1000 रुपए 10 लोगों को ही दे रहा हूं, so I am better. Okay, Gauri?
Yes, sir. Also, how would we like prove the point of accuracy and speed over here?
Point of?
Like, what would be the accuracy in clash analysis? The accuracy and speed. If we have to give our argument basis that, what can we give like some brief points?
Okay. See, in order to prove accuracy, जो जनरली हम लोग करते हैं, that is कि बंदे की knowledge कितनी है, expertise कितनी है, वो चीज है, experience वगैरह. That is कि देखो जनरली accuracy कैसे प्ले करती है कि अगर तुम्हारे केस में normal workers of the company are doing something, okay, the lower level workers, and मेरे केस में the top IAS officers are doing something, right? And if that is something related to administration, so of course these IAS officers have a higher knowledge and expertise than these workers who have just started, right? So because of that, they are more likely to be accurate in their work. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And speed तो is of course like किस rate पे तुम काम कर पा रहे हो. In that case, देखो, you can say कि IAS officers can also do this stuff and normal workers can also do this stuff. But IAS worker मैं एक ही अपॉइंट कर पाऊंगा तो वो काम करने में काफी समय लगाएगा. नॉर्मल वर्कर्स में इतने पैसे में 10 अपॉइंट कर सकता हूँ तो वो बहुत स्पीड में ये काम कर लेंगे. So that way you can get the speed. अब how to get both, that is difficult. Yeah, guys, ask you a question. I'll just answer in a second. Okay, yeah, Aisha, I'm so sorry. I wrote that thing, but I forgot to take it. Okay, yeah, just a second. See, देखो कई बार क्या होता है ना, from personal experience I'm telling you that when you are the web speaker, you need to take care of everything. मतलब तुम्हारे speakers के पास जो तुम्हारा PM होता है या जो तुम्हारा वो होता है DPM, they have a lot of stuff to say जो अभी debate में changes हुए हैं उसके according. But of course they will not find that way to say it. So they will tell you to speak that for you for them. Okay? अब देखो, when your speakers are talking to you, when your teammates are talking to you, you are unable to pay attention to the speaker who is speaking over there. And that is something that I have personally experienced. And उससे काफी problems हो सकती हैं. Okay? So what you need to do is pay attention to what the speaker is saying and tell your teammates, देखो, if you need me to speak anything or if you want to discuss anything with me, write it down. If we are on laptops, just write it on a shared doc. If we are on pen and paper, write it on paper and pass me the check. But do not speak a word to me, otherwise I'll kill you. Okay, so do not let them speak, or else you will not be able to listen to the actual speaker, which will be something disastrous for you in a debate. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Or else we'll end the meet. Yeah. I hope there is none. Okay, guys. You all can leave the meeting. Thank you, guys, for having the wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your time. It was a wonderful session for the web speakers.
So you were actually better than almost all of those who actually explained these topics.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
I agree with her.